If you use a white noise app or machine in order to fall asleep, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And welcome back, folks, to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. Today is going to be the Thursday, February 5th edition. We're one day closer to the weekend and to the Super Bowl. We've got some more stuff to go through. We're going to have some more earnings tonight. We, of course, had Google last night with an eye-popping CapEx spend number. Y'all know the drill. AI is still getting a lot of money directed to it. We're going to break down all of the news here today. We're going to get you ready for the market, and then we're going to trade it here today. Should be fun. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Thursday edition for February 5th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. I know some of you were probably didn't have the greatest day yesterday. I know Ondas pulled back along with a lot of other things. And this morning here in the pre-market, yikes, we are challenging yesterday's lows. We're going to make the best of it because that's what we do here. A positive attitude has no price tag. Peter is first here today. Good morning, Peter. Welcome back. It's good to see you as always. Robert, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you. Brent, good morning. Welcome back. Big Dave, good morning. Metals are dropping like a rock. Indeed, they are. I just want to know if you guys are buying. I want to know what's the plan for the pullback here? Is it run for the hills? Is it take gains if you haven't already? Is it buying it for a bounce? That's the discussion. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Richard Judge, good morning. Welcome back. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Brian says England held rates due to inflation. I imagine that doesn't bode well for us today. You know, it's interesting. We have the ECB holding because they're worried about inflation. And then we have the challenger job cuts being higher than expected last year. That signals that maybe the labor market is weakening. So maybe there's kind of a push and pull. Here in the pre-market, though, we definitely sold off in the last couple of minutes here. So, Brian, we'll see if we're able to firm up at all here today, or if it's just going to be another day where we get pounded. Big Heart, Brent. China took a hit last night. Hopefully you didn't take a hit. Zach, good morning. Welcome back. One Stop, good morning. Welcome back. We actually did get that Challenger job cuts there. I'll go ahead and read that when we go through the news part there. Good morning. Edro, good morning. Brett, good morning. Solitary Soldier, good morning. Lost Penny, good morning. Matthew, good morning. Kylie Close, yellow. Good morning. Welcome back. I like the energy. Jim, good morning. You got this. We got this every day, Jim. We got this every day. We're not going to let anything throw us off, Jim. We got our eyes on the prize. Y'all do too. AC, good morning. Welcome back. Lost Penny, good morning. Welcome back. Marty, it's good to see you again. Richard, welcome back. Hopefully you're doing well. Brandy, good morning. Just Some Guy, good morning. Buffalo by Bicycle, good morning. Lion and Marionetta, welcome back. Bernhard and Cam, welcome back. Yassine, it's good to see you, my man. Dive Deep, welcome back. James, welcome back. Yes, James. Listen to James. James is a savant. Hit the like button, folks. Hit those likes for us. We can get more people into our community to help us find more things to trade. Let's exploit that algorithm a little bit. James, thanks very much, man. Go ahead and smash up that like button or hit it gently if you prefer that, I suppose. Lambo Rolls, good morning. Welcome back. Kelly, good morning. Welcome back. Tyler, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back. Ed, good morning. Who am I missing here? Navy Dave, good morning. It's good to see you. Nowhere Man, how is Apple still up? Yo, Apple's had kind of a sneaky rally, right? And we had a little bit of a hint that something big is going to happen here. Maybe investors are getting excited for that. Apple's been the safe haven. Looks like it is again. JJ, good morning. Pretty Panda, what's up? Good morning. It's good to see you again. Carlos, good morning. Welcome back. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. Day Trader sent me, I'm sorry I missed this yesterday. I think it was after the show anyway, but I actually didn't see it till this morning because I was tied up yesterday. Day Trader has a list of private drone companies that I'm going to share with the group today. Thank you, Day Trader, for doing that. This will give us a list of companies to maybe look into. And if we see more press releases around this, we'll kind of already have a feel for what it is. So as far as I'm concerned, preparing for stuff like that, one of the only things that we can do right now. I appreciate you doing some of the legwork on that. GB Slice, good morning. Welcome back. Cam, good morning. Welcome back. Nowhere Man, good morning. Welcome back. Who am I missing here? M1J, good morning. Welcome back. Jane, Robot to Trade, good to see you as always. Sue, good morning. MJ, thanks for the tip here. We really appreciate you. A nice little super chat to start the morning off. You're getting the positive vibes flowing. May all your trades be green. Smita, good morning. It's good to see you. Rooster, welcome back. Who else am I missing here? I think we got everyone. Flag Drones, good morning. Welcome back. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, futures under pressure today ahead of Thursday's open. S&P futures down 0.53%, Dow futures down 0.35%. That's interesting. And the NASDAQ leading the way lower by 0.77% to the downside. Now, let's take a look at some cues from last session here. Energy, materials, and real estate stocks led the gains on Wednesday, while information technology and communication services stocks dragged the market lower during an aggressive rotation away from growth. Now, remember, Jay Rice said in our chat yesterday, it seemed that the market was favoring value. We got more indications of that throughout the session yesterday. On Wednesday, the benchmark indices ultimately finished mixed, with the NASDAQ dropping about 351 points as investors shifted focus. Moving forward, corporate results are the primary driver for the market, with Amazon taking center stage as it reports after the bell today. In tandem, market participants will evaluate the latest weekly jobless claims report released this morning for new insights into the durability of the U.S. labor market. And while we're on that right now, according to Benzinga Pro here, let's actually take a look at that. Challenger job cuts for January are 108,000.435. That was versus the prior read of only 35,000. So it does look like that accelerated quite a bit here. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.2%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.55%. The CME Fed Watch Tool projections show that the market is pricing in a 90.1% likelihood of the Federal Reserve leaving the current interest rates unchanged during the March meeting. I have several stocks in focus for you here today. The first one's going to be Alphabet. Ticker here is GOOG or GOOGL, depending on which class of shares that you trade. That dropped 1.68% in the pre-market on Thursday, despite reporting better than expected fourth quarter financial results on Wednesday after the market closed. Really quick, Alphabet Q4 EPS of 282 beat the 263 estimate, and sales of 113.82 billion beat the estimate of 111.30 billion. So beat on the top and the bottom line. Again, it was their CapEx spend that was between 175, 185 billion. Just absolutely incredible. We'll dive into that a little bit more here. The next stock on our list is going to be Workday. The ticker here is WDAY, and it fell 2.44% after announcing that it will eliminate 2% of its workforce and expects 135 million in restructuring charges. Amazon is the next stock on our list. As mentioned, it's going to be reporting earnings tonight. Shares were up 0.11% ahead of its earnings, scheduled to be released after the bell. Analysts are expecting earnings of $197 per share on revenue of $211 billion. Broadcom is the next stock on our list. The ticker on this one is AVGO. It jumped 5.36% following Google's forecast of a massive jump to 175 to 185 billion in CapEx this year. Broadcom helps design and manufactures Google's tensor processing units, or TPUs, the company's in-house specialized AI chips for AI infrastructure. The last stock on our list is going to be Shell. The ticker here is SHEL, and it was 2.4% lower after posting adjusted earnings of $3.26 billion for the fourth quarter, which missed analyst expectations. All right, let's get back to the SPY here. We still have this nasty candle that hasn't really been corrected, which is affecting some of the charting software here, but we still can get a really good idea of where we're at. The key here, not only are we beneath the 20-day moving average, I have that value here at 690.5. That's been a key level going back weeks now. We're also now beneath the 50-day moving average. That value is 686.16. So if we trade up at all here, if we catch a bid at any point in the day and start trading up, these would be two levels to look for. And I think we can probably just round these numbers, 686 and 690. I know the 20 days up there at 690.5, but 690 had been a previous key level, both for support and for resistance. So call it 690 to 690.50. These two definitely going to be key levels here today. It's also worth noting that if we continue to break down, the next two levels that we have identified are going to be the 100-day moving average. This actually happens to line up quite nicely with the low from January 20th. So it'll be interesting to see if we find any support there. That value is at 677.63. And then furthermore, beneath that, we have the good old 672.99 or 673 previous all-time high breakout level that also should act as support if we continue to pull back. Now, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. BlackRock and Jaime Martinez, financial market analyst at PU Prime, are navigating a market environment characterized by a significant shift in Federal Reserve leadership expectations. BlackRock maintains a pro-risk stance, reviewing recent market jitters as reshuffling of winners, not the AI trade's end. They specifically identify infrastructure as a major beneficiary of megaforces like the AI buildout and low carbon transition. BlackRock notes that listed infrastructure currently trades at nearly 20% discount to its long-term average, which presents a significant opportunity. Martinez highlights how the nomination of Kevin Warsh as the next Fed chair has triggered a sharp repricing across asset classes. Martinez explains that the previous dollar debasement trade, which fueled gold and silver, is being challenged because Kevin Warsh is widely perceived as more hawkish compared to other potential candidates. This shift implies a stronger focus on inflation control and financial stability, potentially reducing the urgency for rate cuts. And just kind of looking at the move that we had here, Brian was saying earlier how the ECB is holding rates there, and that doesn't bode well for us. Well, also, the thought here is the incoming Fed chair is going to be a little bit more hawkish. And as the article outlines here, perhaps the focus will be more on inflation than the labor market. We'll see how it plays out. Both commentators see the Warsh nomination as a stabilizer for the U.S. dollar. BlackRock suggests his experience will help mitigate the risk of global market spillovers while the economy shows solid growth. BlackRock warns that inflation is becoming stickier, which may limit the Fed's ability to cut rates aggressively in 2026. I think the consensus here from the group, I know at least this is the case for the happy hour group, we're kind of not thinking we get any rate cuts until the back half of the year. Now, Trump's a real estate guy. He absolutely wants lower rates. He said that multiple times. I do think that inevitably is where we're going here, but perhaps we don't get this aggressive cutting cycle, and perhaps we actually don't even get cuts until the back half of the year. Initial jobless claims data for the week ending January 31st will be out by 8:30. In Atlanta, Fed President Raphael Bostic will speak at 10:50, both times Eastern. All right, now let's take a look here at Google. What we'll do is we'll go back to the chart and start there. I'm going to use GOOG just because this is what I always use, and I want to keep it as consistent as I can. And you can see here that we're actually down 4.14%, or just about 4% here in the pre-market, down here at about 320. This is significant because this area has us under the 50-day moving average. And gosh, even the last time we were down here, we tested it. Last time we were under the 50-day moving average was April 30th of 2025. So this was not even a full month past Liberation Day. Once we recaptured that 50, we went on a unbelievable run here in Google. So now it sure looks like there's a little bit of pullback on the back of this. I'm sorry about my nose here. It looks like there's a little bit of a pullback here, and it's actually taking us beneath the 50-day moving average. So the one thing that I would love to get from you folks, or love to understand from you folks here, is, does this represent a buying opportunity? Or are you worried about the market selling off and maybe bringing some of the stalwarts lower? Are you looking for another level, maybe a little bit lower? I mean, even the round 300 number, that's going to be kind of like the low from back here from middle of December. So what do you think here on Google? Where's the ad spot on Google for the group? This one is just continued to outperform here. This is clearly an AI leader. I mean, their YouTube is just absolutely crushing it. Looks like there's no signs of slowing down there. So like Google a lot. Let me know what you think the buy-in price is here. Nowhere Man, love it. 280. So 280 is actually, so first of all, just looking at the chart here, love the 280 spot because very clearly the stock used this as support for what looks like almost 3 weeks here, right? Look at all these candles in here where it was bouncing off that 280 level or thereabout. The interesting note about this 280 price target that you have is that this would also mean that in addition to losing the 50 like we're doing here today, we're also going to lose the 100-day. And perhaps that would set up for a potential recapture. That value down there, 292.5. Lion says this is a great buy. Dive Deep says you can wait, no rush. Cam is already holding. So looks like they're keep me posted. Keep me posted on what you guys think of where the ad spots are here. Grats if you folks made money on this. Google still really, really awesome. Let's actually take a look at the earnings here, though. We'll go through this first. Google reported fourth quarter financial results on Wednesday, and they reported a fourth quarter revenue of $113.83 billion. The revenue total beat the street consensus estimate of $111.31 billion. That's according to Benzinga Pro. Total revenue was up 18% on a year-over-year basis, driven by double-digit growth across all segments. Here's a breakdown. Google search was $63 billion. That was up from $54 billion year over year. YouTube advertising, $11.3 billion. That was up from $10.47 billion. I remember when at the advertising theme, we were kind of questioning that, right? We were questioning that from Meta, questioning that from Google. Well, more money here, and it's growing year over year. Google Network, $7.83 billion. That's actually down from $7.95 billion year over year. Overall, Google advertising segment revenue was $82.28 billion. That was up from $72.46 billion year over year. Give me one sec here, folks. All right, sorry about that. Nose is just not cooperating with me here today. We're going to remind it who's boss. All right, the company also reported the following segment. Google Cloud was $17.66 billion. That was up from $11.96 billion. It's a pretty huge increase there. Google subscriptions, platform, and devices was $13.58 billion. That was also up from $11.63 billion year over year. The company said Google Cloud saw continued increase in customer demand, with revenue up 48% year over year. YouTube revenue exceeded $60 billion for the full 2025 fiscal year, and the company reported fourth quarter's earnings per share of $2.82, which beat the street. Alphabet's operating income was up 16% year over year in the fourth quarter. Quote, it was a tremendous quarter for Alphabet, and annual revenue exceeded $400 billion for the first time, end quote. That came from CEO Sundar Pichai. Pichai said the launch of Gemini 3 was a major milestone and also has great momentum behind it. Quote, our first-party models like Gemini now process over 10 billion tokens per minute via direct API use by our customers. And the Gemini app has grown to over 750 million monthly active users. The Alphabet CEO said Google search had more usage than ever before, with AI helping drive the way. Do you remember when ChatGPT first came out and everyone was going through like the bleeding edge process of that, where they're using it for everything from recipes to where to get important documents for your Secretary of State? There was a lot of talk, even on this show. I think we actually might have even run a poll on it. Are you going to use search less because of ChatGPT? I think I asked a number of folks, hey, what do you use to search the internet? And I kept getting answers like, well, I just use ChatGPT now, or I just use Grok now, or I just use Gemini now. Here you go. Google search had more usage than ever before. So it's very, very clear that although the AI tools are great, they're not going to replace Google search. Google also wrapped in some AI into their search. So when you search something, it'll give you an AI answer right at the top. Clearly, that's not going away. Quote, we continue to drive strong growth across the business, end quote. Pichai also highlighted Alphabet having over 325 million paid subscriptions for its consumer services, with Google One and YouTube Premium leading the way. Do you folks have either of these? I've actually thought about YouTube Premium just because it just nixes so many of the ads. I don't like paying if I don't have to. And Google One, I view as a scam. I hate to say it, but I view this as a scam because the only experience that I have with Google One is these really annoying messages that my Gmail is 99.7% full and that my email will stop in 30 days if I don't clear it out. Well, they link you to the Google One app where you can manage all of your storage. And the first thing that they try to do is sell you more of it on a subscription basis. There's no effing way I'm going to pay Google to hold more of my information and then lose it in some type of data breach. Please, GTHO. Now, I think I left a letter out there, but you guys know what I mean. So it's for me, this whole Google One thing, I don't really know. YouTube, absolutely amazing. You remember when I think, what did they buy it for $1 billion? Now it generates like 11 billion a quarter. That was a pretty good move. Just saying. Alphabet's cloud ended the fiscal year with an annual run rate of over 70 billion. Quote, we're seeing our AI investments in infrastructure drive revenue and growth across the board. Pichai said 2026 CapEx investments are now expected to be in a range of 175 to 185 billion. Just eye-popping numbers. That's actually higher than Meta. We made a big deal when the Meta came out, and when the Meta CapEx came out, Google's above it. C-Medit saying you can use an extension to stop the ads. Yo, what is that extension? What is that extension? Because I used to have ad block that used to do it. Then Google like stopped using ad block and they didn't allow uBlock Origin or whatever it is. Let me know what the exact name of the extension is that deletes all of that stuff. I would imagine a number of folks in here would benefit from that. And sorry for being the old boomer that just doesn't know. Just continuing here with Google, just because this was the biggest thing yesterday. Sundar Pichai says AI capacity is what keeps us up at night. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. Responding to an analyst question about what concerns leadership most at this stage in Google's evolution, Pichai said that the company's longstanding AI-first strategy is now colliding with real-world constraints. Quote, what keeps us up at night? We've been on this AI-first trajectory for over a decade, end quote, pointing to years of investment in custom chips like the TPUs or the tensor processing units. However, he added that the current moment presents a very unique challenge. Quote, the top question is definitely around capacity. All constraints, be it power, land, supply chain constraints, how do you ramp up to meet the extraordinary demand for this moment, end quote. Pichai said Google is spending significant time ensuring it can scale infrastructure responsibly while maintaining efficiency, a balancing act that has data center expansion, a balancing act as data center expansion becomes more complex and more expensive. The comments reflect a broader industry struggle as tech giants race to deploy AI models that require massive computing resources. Power availability, data center locations, and equipment sourcing have increasingly become limiting factors for growth across the sector. Pichai said the company is focused on making the right long-term investments without sacrificing operational discipline. Quote, get our investments right for the long term and do it in a way that we are driving efficiencies and doing it in a world-class way, end quote. Noting that this is where much of his attention is currently focused. Now, we already talked about Alphabet reporting those numbers there. Revenue rose 18% from a year earlier. And then, like I said, this is the big thing here. Looking ahead, companies said 2026 CapEx are expected to range between 175 and 185 billion, with the bulk of spending aimed at expanding AI computing capacity, strengthening technical infrastructure, and supporting the cloud growth, which put up, yet again, a really good number. Google scores in the 92nd percentile for momentum and the 93rd percentile for quality at the same time. Doesn't do so well on value here, but this stock, I think, still has some more room to go. It's also got an intact short, medium, and long-term trend. Okay, so really quickly regarding the ad blocker here, I use uBlock Origin Lite. Okay, so I think I used uBlock Origin and not the light one. I'll check that out, though. I appreciate that. Look, I watch a lot of YouTube, whether it's fixing a dishwasher or about a new car detailing product. I absolutely use YouTube a lot. I would love to cut those ads out. They make plenty of money anyway. Who cares? All right, going back to Pro, we also had another pretty big report yesterday. It was from Qualcomm. Ticker is QCOM. Here's what the chart looks like. Qualcomm down almost 10% here this morning, down 9.68% in the pre-market. Looks like we're hitting about 134.5 down here. That puts us right in here. Looks like we have a little bit more room to go down here. 120 represents a pretty decent support level here. Let me see if I can make this chart a little bit easier for us to see. Indeed. One other thing that I'm kind of seeing here, let's actually connect some of these lows with the trend line, because our trend lines have been crispy AF. Maybe that will actually catch this here today. That's at about 129.5, maybe 129 to 130 as a near-term possible support area here for Qualcomm. We'll see if it's able to hold that. We're beneath all of the moving averages, and don't look now, but if this continues, boy, oh boy, that yellow line, that's that 50-day moving average. Yep, that's going to plunge through that blue line here. We're going to have a death cross. Now, I understand that we had a little bit of back and forth here, so maybe the effects from that death cross will be mitigated a smidge, but keep your eye on this chart. we'll see what happens. The chart has told the story for a lot of this stuff. Now, let's actually take a look at some of the highlights here. This was a double beat and record revenue, and AI momentum is growing, but the stock's down 10%. Qualcomm reported quarterly revenue with first quarter total revenues of $12.25 billion. That was up 5% year over year. The revenue beat the street consensus of $12.18 billion, according to Pro. QCT revenue was at a record $10.61 billion in the quarter. That was up 5% year over year. QTL revenue was $1.59 billion in the quarter, up 4% year over year. The QCT revenue by segment, handsets were $7.82 billion, plus 3% year over year. Automotive was 1.1, that's plus 15% year over year. And Internet of Things was 1.69, that was plus 9% year over year. The company reported adjusted earnings per share of $3.50, which beat the street consensus of $3.40. Automotive was also a company record, and this marked the second consecutive quarter of the segment being higher than $1 billion. Qualcomm said it completed its acquisition of Alphawave Semi in the quarter, helping to accelerate the company's expansion into data centers. Quote, "We are pleased to deliver strong quarterly results with record total company revenues," end quote. That came from CEO Cristiano Amon. He goes on to say, "Our momentum across personal, industrial, and physical AI is growing." Qualcomm's guidance is for second quarter revenue in the range of $10.2 to $11 billion. That was versus the street estimate of $11.11 billion, according to Pro. The company's guidance for a second quarter adjusted earnings per share of $2.45 to $2.65 versus a street consensus estimate of $2.88. So a little soft on that. Qualcomm said it completed its acquisition of the Alphawave Semi in the quarter, which helps expand into data centers. Company said its handset outlook is impacted by memory supply constraints that are industry-wide. So that memory price move up, all of that still affecting other things here. Man, oh man. Quote, "We are encouraged by end consumer demand for premium and high-tier smartphones. We remain on track to achieve our fiscal 2029 revenue goals," end quote. That again came from CEO Cristiano Amon. All right, another SpaceX story here for you. This IPO is going to be hot. This IPO is going to be very much like a violently burning fire. It is going to suck the oxygen from everything else around it. Be very curious to see how the IPO slate ends up shaking out for this year. I have a tough time thinking that any IPO is going to garner more attention and perhaps more interest than the SpaceX one. The Elon Musk-led SpaceX is reportedly pushing for an expedited entry into major stock indexes, potentially altering the traditional IPO timeline. The company's advisors have initiated discussions with major index providers, including NASDAQ, to explore the possibility of an early inclusion. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal yesterday. Companies generally must wait months to a year after going public before qualifying for major indexes like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100, allowing time to prove stability and sufficient liquidity to absorb index fund buying. SpaceX is pushing to bypass traditional rules to give shareholders liquidity sooner around its IPO, with advisors lobbying for index policy changes that could speed up its inclusion into major indexes and set a precedent for other highly valued private firms. What could go wrong with this? Meanwhile, NASDAQ is seeking feedback on proposed changes to the NASDAQ 100 methodology, including a possible fast entry rule that would allow top 40 companies by market cap to join the index after 15 trading days instead of waiting 3 months or the traditional 90 days. At current valuations, SpaceX, OpenAI, and Anthropic would be eligible for this. Similar fast-track options already exist at S&P Total Markets Index and MSCI, and advisors to SpaceX are exploring them to support a strong IPO debut. Notably, the S&P 500 does not have a fast entry option. This development comes on the heels of SpaceX's recent merger with xAI, which Musk framed as a long-term bet on humanity's future. The deal reportedly values SpaceX at around $1 trillion and xAI at about $250 billion, with the combined SpaceX xAI entity expected to price shares at around $527 after the deal. The merger has also fueled expectations about SpaceX's IPO, with PreMarket traders estimating that the closing market cap of SpaceX could be around 1.67 trillion. This figure would put SpaceX in direct competition with the market caps of other tech giants like Amazon and Meta. SpaceX was last valued around 800 billion in an insider share sale, while XAI was valued at about 230 billion last year. The IPO for SpaceX is planned for later this year, and I suspect it'll probably be around the midpoint of this year. Moreover, billionaire investor Chamath Palihapitiya and Dan Ives of Wedbush Securities have signaled speculation about a potential merger deal between Tesla and SpaceX, a move that could further disrupt the traditional market landscape. So, like I said, we're going to be covering SpaceX quite a bit here. This is going to be a huge, huge thing for the market here. Astro Kev saying, will SpaceX go IPO or will it reverse merger into Tesla? I think the latter. So I do think that it is going to IPO, just to be clear and on the timeline here. I think it's going to IPO. The bankers are all going to get paid fat. That's PHAT, fat. And then afterwards, maybe they'll talk about merging the SpaceX XAI with Tesla to create this big company of everything conglomerate that Elon Musk has talked about in the past. I'm excited. We'll see how it shakes out. All right. Let's go back to the chart. I'm smiling because it's my favorite place, and I'm going there on Sunday before the Super Bowl. I hope it's not too jammed. Here's your Costco chart. The demise of Costco was greatly exaggerated by a number of folks as this thing traded down. I understand we lost the 200. We even lost the 500. And while the recapture was not very quick, it was pretty good. Once it recaptured that 500, boy, oh boy, this thing was a rocket ship to the upside. Recaptured the 200, back tested the 200 and moved higher. Now here we're sitting 992.50 here in the pre-market. Look for that $1,000 bust, folks. That's going to be on deck here today. Now, why are we talking about Costco? Well, that's because the stock rallied on strong January sales. And yes, of course, I did my part. Costco, ticker COST. Stock is up during pre-market trading on Thursday following the company's recent sales report. The stock's positive movement aligns with the broader market trends as the consumer discretionary sector and the S&P 500 both experienced slight gains. Costco reported net sales of $21.33 billion for January, marking a 9.3% increase from $19.51 billion in the same month last year. The company also noted that comparable sales in the U.S. rose 5.8%, while Canada saw an impressive increase of 11.4%. In addition to strong sales figures, Costco's total sales for the first 22 weeks of the fiscal year reached $123.16 billion, reflecting an 8.5% rise from $113.55 billion during the same period last year. The company reported that digitally enabled sales surged by 34.4% for the month, contributing significantly to the overall growth. Now, Costco's stock is currently trading 3.2% above its 20-day simple moving average and 8.2% above its 100-day moving average. That demonstrates longer-term strength. Shares have decreased 6.19% over the past 12 months and are positioned to close near their 52-week highs rather than lows. The RSI is at 64.84, which is considered in neutral territory, although almost at that 70 threshold. While the MACD is below the signal line, indicating bearish pressure on the stock, the combination of a neutral RSI and bearish MACD suggests mixed momentum. Key resistance, $1,000. We just talked about it. Looks like it's going to test it here today. And your key support, $950. Investors are looking ahead to the next earnings report, which comes on March 5th, 2026. The estimated EPS is $4.52. That was up from $4.02 year over year. And the revenue estimate is $68.97 billion. That's up from $63.72 billion year over year. Price to earnings multiple of 52.4. That absolutely indeed represents a premium valuation. Quick check-in on some of the analyst consensus and recent actions. The stock carries a buy rating with an average price target of $1,058.50. Recent analyst moves include Mizuho, which went to outperform and raise the target to $1,065 on February 3rd. Kelsey Advisory Group Looks like they had two recent maintains. They maintained, outperform, and maintained their target of $1,100. They did that on January 8th and February 2nd. Good old Costco, my favorite store. Costco gave us a great dip, which I used to add under 900. Golf clap. We need a golf clap here for day trader. Way to go on Costco. One of the things that I've learned in the stock market since I've started this, add Costco on weakness. It's just how it goes. All right, next here, Taiwan Semiconductor. Have I ever been to a Costco business center? There's only 27. I have not. Producer asking me a question. There's something I don't know about Costco. I'm questioning my life right now, and I have all those equations flashing across my eyes. What the hell is it? Bro is right. Yeah. I'm going to need to look into that. Thanks for embarrassing me a little bit here, producer. You're the real MVP. JK. Taiwan Semiconductor is reportedly preparing a major expansion in Japan. Taiwan Semiconductor plans to mass produce the advanced 3-nanometer chip at its facilities in Kumamoto, southern Japan, with total investments expected to reach about $17 billion. That was reported by the Japanese newspaper Yomiuri on Thursday. The move would mark a significant upgrade for Taiwan Semiconductor's earlier plans for a more mature chip technologies in that region. Japan's government, which has already provided substantial subsidies to support TSMC's expansion in Kaishu, is considering additional financing backing for the new plan, according to the report. Previously, Taiwan Semiconductor has planned to invest roughly $12.2 billion in its second Kaishu fab to produce 6 and 12 nanometer chips. The company is now expected to discuss revisions to that plan with Japanese authorities. In October of 2025, it was reported that TSMC's Japan unit, the Japan Advanced Semiconductor Manufacturing, began construction of a second wafer fab plant in Kumamoto under a separate $13.9 billion investment plan. That facility is expected to produce 6-nanometer chips for applications such as autonomous vehicles and AI, with production slated to begin in late 2027. Japan is also heavily subsidizing Rapidus, a domestic foundry venture aiming to produce next-generation chips, in Hokkaido. The government has determined that TSMC and Rapidus will serve different markets and use cases, limiting direct competition. TSMC did not immediately respond to our request for comments, but we'll update you as we get that. TSMC's expansion plans come as the company continues to benefit from surging AI-driven demand. In January of 2026, the chipmaker reported quarterly revenue of $33.73 billion. That was up more than 20% year over year, which beat analyst expectations. TSMC is a critical manufacturing partner for companies such as NVIDIA, which relies on the TSMC for its GPUs, and Apple, which depends on the chipmaker for its iPhone processors. So actually, we'll take a quick look at the chart here for TSM. I know the company is called TSMC. The ticker's TSM. I mix it up all the time. It is what it is. So this here, I know we've pulled back from some of the highs, those highs right up there around 350. What I would really love here, a test and a hold of this 50-day moving average. You could see, especially when compared to some of the other AI stocks that we've looked at, this one is actually a little bit more, I almost want to use the word healthy, because it's not just a straight up vertical wall, right? There is absolutely a little bit of consolidation. There's some sideways pockets here. There's several tests of some of these key moving averages like the 20 and the 50. And so to my eye, looking at this, it wouldn't surprise me at all if we tested this 50. It really wouldn't surprise me if we even traded down to 300. That round number, it feels like the stock's got a magnet in it. I could absolutely see it doing that. And that $300 level aligns quite nicely with the 100-day moving average, which also has acted as support in recent months here for TSM. So this is perhaps the biggest thing behind the thing, because you need these chips in order to do AI. You need them. And Apple needs them for their phone, and their phone is an absolute monster, accounting for most of their revenue. So TSM, extremely, extremely important. Now, one more thing here. I know we've talked a lot about the battery theme, and several of you folks have actually asked a number of times about QuantumScape. This is ticker QS. This thing actually made a really good move during 2025. It's been less awesome here in 2026. We actually just lost the 200-day moving average, and to my eye, it sure looks like we want to come in and test the 500-day moving average, which is the purple line on the chart. Also, taking a look at this volume profile, which encompasses all of 2025 and all of 2024, you can see that we're actually giving up the second biggest volume shelf that we have here. I'm looking at the volume point of control is down here at 503. So let's just call it $5. This clearly has the biggest volume shelf of the chart. But look, we're giving up this one. This was an area here, this going all the way back to July of 2024. This was a resistance area that we then went through. I know we kind of back tested this same area. We maybe overshot it a little bit, but for all intents and purposes, we held it and then ripped to some new highs. Now we find ourselves right back down here. So QuantumScape, in our battery theme, what's going on here? Hang on, let me answer. Hang on, sorry. Trying to have multiple conversations at the same time. Not easy, folks. All right. QuantumScape Corporation announced on Thursday the inauguration of its newly installed Eagle line, which is a pivotal step for solid-state battery pilot production. The development marks a significant advancement in QuantumScape's effort to commercialize its next-generation battery technology. The Eagle line is based in San Jose, and it's designed to produce QS battery cells for customer sampling and testing. It's intended to demonstrate the scalable production for gigawatt-hour scale manufacturing. So with all of the power discussions, batteries and storage and all of that, that's going to be an extremely important kind of adjacent sector, I feel like. The Eagle line features QuantumScape's innovative Cobra process, which is crucial for producing the company's proprietary separator. The process is highly scalable and forms the blueprint for future production efforts. Siva Sivaram, president and CEO of QuantumScape, highlighted that the Eagle line is a critical platform for showcasing the stability of their solid-state technology. Luca Fasoli, the chief operating officer, emphasized the rapid scale-up of the cell build process, enhancing output, scalability, and quality. This move positions QuantumScape to meet increasing, I just had the chart up there. This move positions QuantumScape to meet increasing demand for advanced battery solutions, a key factor as the automotive industry shifts towards electric vehicles, although not as fast as anticipated. Am I right? The Eagle line will also serve as a platform for further technological advancements, supporting the company's mission to revolutionize energy storage. QuantumScape Corporation Class A common stock, or ticker QS, is currently positioned below all key moving averages, which indicates bearish momentum. The stock is trading 15.4% below its 20-day, 22.3% below its 50-day, and 32.7% below its 100-day, which suggests ongoing weakness in the price action. The RSI is currently at 29, signaling that QuantumScape is in oversold territory, although we know it can actually go a little bit more than that. This level often indicates that the stock may be due for a bounce, but reflects that there is indeed strong selling pressure. The MACD is below the signal line, which indicates bearish pressure on the stock. This suggests that the downward momentum may continue until a bullish reversal occurs, which traders will watch closely. Hey, guess what? That's why I started here with the chart for you folks, because I've got a pretty crispy target for this thing to reverse. Maybe it does catch here at about 750, but I've got 7.25 as the 500-day moving average, and I would be unsurprised if we actually overshoot this recent support level. So QuantumScape, it's in the theme that we have been talking about. I understand we're kind of seeing a market pullback, and that's affecting a lot of different stocks here. But maybe, just maybe, this will represent a buying opportunity in QuantumScape. Let's see, what else do we have here? Traders should remain cautious as the current technical setup indicates a bearish trend with potential for short-term volatility. Watching for price action around the key support and resistance levels will be crucial for determining the next stop. Do we get a bounce? Is it tradable? We'll see. Keep QS on your watch list. All right. We're going to pay the bills here real quick. I do want you to check out this webinar here that we have. It is today. So it will be right after our show here. Harnessing volatility for income, and it is an option-based approach, so it should scratch the itch for a lot of you folks out there. Volatility doesn't have to be something investors fear. It can be a source of income when used strategically. And you can join Matt Holcomb, portfolio manager at RecShares, for an in-depth free webinar on how option strategies can be used to potentially generate income in volatile markets. During this session, they will cover understanding volatility in options, how to harness the volatility for income, and navigating today's market environment. So whether you're an active trader or a long-term investor looking to diversify your income toolkit, this webinar will provide practical insights into how option strategies are designed to work across different market environments. QR code is on the screen. Producer, I would imagine you'd also drop a registration link in the chat for those that don't do the whole QR code thing. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention, if y'all stay here, you'll be auto-directed to that webinar. You don't even have to do any of this. So maybe just stick around and help support us in that endeavor. All right. Oh my God, we're cruising on time here. How are we doing so well? Oh, that's right, because the producer's just outdoing himself. Right, of course. And the chat is here being amazing like they normally are. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what the street is saying here. Let's check out some street tweets. All right. Here's the first one. I know this is hard to see, so what we'll do is we'll actually drop the tweet itself in the chat, so you can go after this, but I do want to talk about this a little bit. Where is my tweet? Come on here. Come on here. I gotcha. Daddy's gotcha. All right. In the last 2 months, China has started construction on another 8 nuclear reactors, which brings the total to 38. The U.S., meanwhile, issues press releases and strongly worded letters of intent. Now, there's 2 graphs here. What this is really showing is that we've talked a lot about power. We've talked a lot about energy, power needs, data center, how that all connects together. We even had companies saying that they want to take care of the burden so that it doesn't affect customers, all of that stuff. And we've talked really about how solar is great. Solar is making a huge run here. The stocks are, and solar is absolutely going to be used to facilitate our energy demands. But no one serious thinks that solar can meet all of our energy demands, at least not as it currently stands. And that's really where natural gas and nuclear come in. I know that the nuclear stocks have been really popular amongst traders because they've gone ballistic. Here's the thing. It really looks like we kind of need to get a little bit more serious about this. So one of the things we've talked about when it comes to some of these stocks is that, well, it takes a while to build these reactors and maybe the stocks won't perform till a number of years down the road or something of that nature. I think this graphic here is showing that the U.S. really ought to pick this up a little bit faster. And perhaps all of those nuke names, or maybe even some of the uranium names that are adjacent to those nuke names, might make pretty good trades for us. We cover it all the time. I expect us to continue covering this. Looks like China's serious here, and even India and Russia are adding some more. There are no new nuclear reactors under construction in the U.S. currently. I would imagine that changes here. Okay. Next tweet here. This one comes from Unusual Whales. AI may eliminate entry-level roles, making it harder for young people to enter the workforce. This is per the IMF. Now, okay, I think we all kind of think that this is happening here. Some of the comments to this tweet are absolutely hilarious. Like, oh, good. That means I just get to watch stonks all day. Okay, hopefully you're good at trading those. I worry about this. I definitely think that the younger generation is going to need to work, and I am worried about how many entry-level roles here. The one thing that I think this tweet misses is that there's going to be a lot of AI-specific roles, and I actually think that this same younger generation here will be adept at quickly learning that. Now, it won't be for everybody. And not everyone will care and not everyone will take the effort. But I still think that there's another leg of this entire thing that we're going to see where AI is at. You're going to need to be able to utilize, prompt, edit, and control the AI tool to help get the results that you want. We all like I have some ideas for apps. I can't just sit down with no experience at all and have the AI tool develop some app that I can then sell and retire on. Like, it's just not that easy. It'd be cool if it was. It's not that easy. I really think that the new generation here, while some entry level roles are going to be eliminated, the reality here is that some other entry level roles may be created. And if it's going to be in the AI theme, perhaps these will lead to more better careers down the road. So I could comment here from Cam that says, kind of like the internet. Yeah, I think so. How many jobs did the internet kill? And then several years later, how many jobs did the internet create? I think at this point now, the benefits outweigh the negatives without a doubt. And I'm hoping that the same is going to be true for AI. Producer, next tweet. Peter Schiff making some noise again here. Now, you folks already talked about the metals getting absolutely pounded, and they continue to pull back. I think they're down here again today. Peter Schiff says silver is down over $12 this evening, trading at just below $75. It was trading at over 90 this morning. That's a 17% off sale. Buy some right now before it ends. And of course, the link he gives is his own proprietary Schiff Gold website. So I'm glad to see that he's not shaking his fist at the sky here today. But the big thing that I have here, or the big question that I have for the group here, who's adding? Lion, I already know you're adding. You probably have a robe made out of gold or gold-infused threads that you're sitting on your gold throne, drinking from your gold chalice right now, laughing at all of us peasants. But I'm really curious to know who's buying the dip here. What are some of the levels that you're buying this dip at? Do you prefer silver? Do you prefer gold? Are you moving into things like copper, which we've also talked about, especially for infrastructure build out, data center build out? Are you looking at other things like minerals, like uranium or something like that? So let me know what you're thinking about this metal pullback here and what you're doing here. Lion says he's adding. Okay, we're not surprised at that at all. Wisdom says Peter is a jackwagon. It's been a number of years since I've heard somebody use that term, but go off, King, on that. So let me know. We'll take a look here at silver and all of those other metals and how they trade. We'll see. And is anyone, just as the last question here, is anyone going to use Schiff Gold to buy their gold? Just let me know. All right, that does it here for our Street Tweets segment. I think one other thing, I kind of talked to you folks about this before. We have just a couple of minutes before 13 rolls out of bed and then breaks down everything like a fraction. So I think what we should do here is we should actually take a look at some prediction market bets. I just want to make a disclaimer here. This is something that I've shared a number of times. Betting is different than stock trading. I know a lot of people look at trading akin to gambling or adjacent to gambling. I think they are different. There's very clear advantages and edges that you can get in trading that you can't necessarily get in gambling. But very clearly, these prediction markets are taking off. Now, I can't think of a better time to take a look at some of these right before the Super Bowl, right? Because even on Polymarket here and on Kalshi's homepage, obviously the top trending prediction market bet is in fact for the Super Bowl here. It looks like the Seahawks winning this 69 to 32%. Let me know who you think is actually going to win this game. Now, aside from the Super Bowl here, what other bets are intriguing here? Is anyone betting on the U.S. striking Iran? I know that the Venezuela Maduro capture was one that produced a huge winner here not long ago. The percentages were kind of low for that. I was kind of taken back by this one. Bitcoin 15-minute up or down. This to me is like basically degeneracy. You're betting on what Bitcoin is going to do the next 15 minutes? I mean, absolutely crazy. I guess unsurprised to see this here right about a coin flip, 51%. Mamdani opening a city-owned grocery store by June 30th. Looks like there's no confidence in the new New York mayor there. And how about this Fed rate decision? It's only 1%, but does anyone actually think we're getting a 50 bips increase? I mean, this to me, that to me seems obvious. I'm looking through some of these. There are obviously some schools that I've never heard of here. I didn't really realize that people were betting on whether or not Keir Starmer was going to be out. Um, they're even betting on GPU rental prices. Like some of this is really kind of shocking here. Let me ask the group, what are there any prediction market bets that you folks like right now? Bonus points if you can give me like a parlay. Like if you put a couple of these together and they all hit and increase your payout. Let me know what you think about that. I'm going to keep kind of scrolling this here. Obviously, I can't believe that someone's already trying to predict the next presidential election. We don't even really know who's going to be in it. The nominees make more sense to me than the actual election winner. Of course, we have the FIFA World Cup winner, but I don't care about this because 13's brother knows who the winner is every year and is known for decades. So we're just going to ask him instead of betting it here on this. I guess we could bet it after we ask him. We'll figure it out. Let me know. I'm going to keep reviewing this because if I see anything, here's a fun one. X banned in the UK by March 31st. That's funny. That's funny. So let me know if there's any out here that you folks really, really like. I'm curious. I definitely kind of want to follow this. We started taking a look here at PreMarket. We can also maybe take a look at Kalshi. I noticed that some of these here are the same. Like, for example, the Super Bowl here. This is basically the same, although they're off by 1%. So I guess one of the other questions that I have here is, do you folks shop around for odds here on this? Let me know. Here we go. Bitcoin price tomorrow at 5 p.m. I mean, that Big B's here said it. Let's see. That's crack. Yeah, indeed. Indeed it is. Tyler here says, I don't bet anybody. After I saw Kalshi and PreMarket come out, I thought it was all financial entrapment of the next generation. You know what, Tyler? I do worry about that too. I do worry about that too. I was definitely more susceptible to gambling when I was younger. Really, anything that was fiscally irresponsible, I was more susceptible to when I was younger. And I do worry about that generation. But I keep seeing like posts about people that make like a salary off some of these. I just know that that's like the extreme minority. So in any case, I am curious to know what you folks think about all of this. And I'm especially curious to see if there are any particular bets here that you would like to take. Maybe we can kind of review this as a regular segment here as a group. And then maybe we can even open a communal show account and see what we can do with it. The producer here says, I should bet on whether I'm right or my wife is. Yeah, let me know what the odds are there because I'm very clearly going to bet on your wife being right. That's an obvious one. It's almost like they're selling dollars for whatever that is. So I'll take that one. I'll take that one, producer. Or if that was producer or if that was 13, I'm not really sure. Either one. I know which side of that bet I'm taking. So, folks, let me know. Again, I'm sorry for repeating myself here, but I'm really, really interested. If y'all have Kalshi or PreMarket bets that you like, or if you see something in here that's intriguing, or if you simply see something off of this list that is just like WTF, let me know. We'll take a look at it. Maybe we'll get some consensus here. But I'm going to reiterate here. If you guys explore this, keep this as just something fun. This is not going to replace trading or investing or anything like that. So if you want to have a little fun on the side, be responsible about it. I'm not going to tell anyone not to have any fun. But just heed some warning here. I think Tyler's onto something here, especially with some of the younger generation. I really do. Okay. Let's get back to stocks here instead of the prediction market. Let's talk to our boy 13 and let's get you prepared for the market open with some of these movers. Let's start our pre-market pulse. Okay.
It was me.
What? Go ahead, 13.
It was me. I put that in.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure which one it was. So
had to have fun. If we're going to start,
we're gonna have fun.
Who's right and who's wrong? What's the ultimate ask? Is my wife right or am I right? Almost always the wife is right, folks? Right. Okay. Glad we got
that's what I would bet on. Like I said earlier, that'd be selling dollars. I wonder what the odds are for that. Okay, 13. Let's go ahead and break down some of these movers. I don't know how much is actually on this list here today. So if there's not really a whole lot, we can just kind of do ticker time for some of the bigger stocks that you folks want to see. A quick check-in here on the market. We basically are at yesterday's intraday lows. So the market kind of plunged a little bit on that Challenger jobs report number earlier. It's kind of drifted down a little bit. S&P futures now down 0.59%. They were down 0.22% when we started the show. So we've actually extended those losses here in the pre-market. We'll see if that changes. All right. First stock that I have on the list here, 13, is going to be Kelly B. This is Kelly Services. I've never heard of this. Looks like we actually have a pre-market double top at 100 and the stock down here at 56. The stock closed at 10 yesterday. Okay. So it looks like we've got some shenanigans going on here. This, I don't know if I've ever seen a lower float figure in my life.
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen a lower float than this one either. But just keep in mind, this is this Class B shares. They have another ticker, Kelly A, which is the Class A. So so you understand that it's still the same company. They just have different class of shares out there. And because of the low float of these Class Bs, it's moving around a lot. The Class A's, much heavier float. That's not going to be what we're focused on today. We're looking at this, which frankly, I don't know what we're going to really get out of this because there's generally no news associated with this. They just announced that they're going to have a fourth quarter and fiscal year 2025 conference call. That's the news. But go ahead.
I was going to say, I did see an insider transaction there, but it was a grant and a sell. The last time we saw buys here was back in 2008. So I'm with you on that. I guess it's strange that they announced that they confirmed their earnings. Basically, sometimes. So really quick, folks, just as an aside here, sometimes you'll hear me talk about a company's earnings and I'll say they haven't confirmed it yet or they have confirmed it yet. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of times companies will either issue a PR confirming that time or simply respond to a media outlet's request. That's all this is. That's all this is.
But it's because of the very, very low float that as soon as it got noticed and it started moving on, it could have moved on probably very little volume. Look at the session volume. It's less.
Look at the average. On average, this stock trades 2,250 shares a day.
Yeah, this is a ghost town, but because of the low float and the fact that it got noticed, it's getting pushed around a lot. So I think that's really all this is. We're just going to see a lot of wild movement out of this thing, just with no real substance. It doesn't really belong up here at all. So it's just going to be a trading vehicle today. And for that, we go to the charts. And right now we're trying to, I think we're holding above. No, we just lost we've been trying to recapture the 65 EMA since we lost it about 30 minutes ago and haven't been able to get back up above it. And if we do, then we have the VWAP up towards 67.36. But this looks like it's still drifting lower, and it may end up doing that as we approach the open. If we continue to weaken here, the support levels that I have are going to be about $52. 47, and then the 200 EMA down at 37.61. Be careful with this. It's likely very, very spread. I think right now the spread's like over $1. So just be very, very careful with this one if you're going to trade it. It can create some great rewards, but it also comes with tremendous risk.
Okay. Yeah. Really good stuff. Big B's here saying liquidity trap. Y'all know what that means.
It's a trap.
That's right. It's trapped. Don't get trapped, folks. That's why we prepare you here today. Really quick, what's the float again on Kelly B? Day traders asking. I have a float reported here of 155.091 thousand.
Yeah.
I can check the float when I get a sec here. That might be something prudent to do just in case there was some change there. But I just, again, 13, and I'm glad that you confirmed it for me. I cannot recall ever seeing a lower figure than 155K in this field. Basic Romantic. I'm sorry. Basic Romantic. I don't know how to.
I think it's supposed to be basic chromatic. Basic chromatic.
Basic chromatic. Okay.
Using the C.
I obviously need more coffee, perhaps a slap in the face or something here. Don't touch that junk. This is the camp that I sit in here today. I will not even try to trade the stock today. If it goes crazy for you folks and you guys make money off of it, I'm happy. But man, oh man, I'm just going to stay away from it. This has trouble written all over it.
Yeah, and some people are going to look at this and be like, wow, this thing's up a whole ton. It could probably go higher, not knowing what they're about to get themselves into. But that's why we come here and tell you about what this is, what it's doing, and why there's such tremendous risk associated with this. So if this is, doesn't fit your risk profile, which for most people it shouldn't, then don't trade it. There's other things we could look at, certainly.
Yeah, absolutely. 13. I think you're spot on with that. Really quickly here, I'm looking for something because I should probably do this when I have more time. I'm sorry, I'm wasting time. Frustrated. Where are you? Okay, whatever. I'll do it later. All right. So that takes care of the first stock there, Kelly B. Next here is going to be AIM. No, it's not AOL Instant Messenger for all of you that use that for way too many years of your life. This is AIM Immunotech, and this thing was just about a penny stock. This thing actually held on to $1 yesterday, closed at 105. We traded up to about 190 here today. Let's see. We do have some news here. AIM Immunotech reports data from an ongoing phase 2 clinical study which is evaluating Amptogen combined with AstraZeneca's anti-PD-L1 immune checkpoint inhibitor, Imfinzi, for metastatic pancreatic cancer treatment. So you're getting data from an ongoing phase 2 clinical study regarding metastatic pancreatic cancer treatment. Judging by the move here, this looks pretty good. I got to imagine this is a pre-revenue biotech. Actually, it says they've got 26K in revenue. That's basically nothing, though. The market cap of this company is only 3.4 million, so a whale could literally roll the company up. Short interest here is 7.22%. That's actually a significant jump from the last read. And by the way, 13, I did have the development team check on the numbers here. They said they reran the job and we didn't get new prints for some of these. So I actually do think we have the most recent data here, but I digress. Only one day to cover on this. On average, it trades 110,000 shares, done 18.5 million here today. Float is 3.18 million. 13, what do you think on this?
This one wasn't on my radar when I was looking at some of the other ones. So and it looks like it just started getting going here about 20 minutes ago. So didn't look at this, but just taking a look at it now, it seems like we've run up to the 65 EMA on the daily. That's going to be at 158, 159. And that's where we're at right now. So the price is actually is currently dealing with getting above the 65 EMA. And if it does, there's still some resistance to the upside between there and about 180. Like I said, didn't look at the news, so I didn't have time to really kind of see how great it is or not. But it's just they've got this phase 2 that's an ongoing, and they're just providing an update on it. So there's no endpoint progress to report. I think the chart is looking like it's setting up to try and push higher here. If we can recapture VWAP, which we're at right now, and well, we moved through the 65 EMA, but this 180 area is next. And if we can get through that, then I think we could see. Let's see where this goes to. We probably could end up seeing maybe 250, somewhere close to that. But if we can get over and hold this 65 EMA, which is currently providing some resistance. As far as the cash goes, it looks like they have some cash, not a lot of revenue, like you pointed out, but I get the sense they're going to have to do a raise at some point soon. And I think I saw that they proposed an offering here, a Series G convertible preferred stocks and warrants. Looks like that's happening today. You see this news from January 23rd. This is why I would prefer to go over something like this, because I could give you a little bit more of an idea what's happening here. But it looks like there's a subscription period for these proposed Series G convertible stock offerings that's going to happen. The record date is yesterday, and the subscription date is today. So that's I don't have a whole lot more that I can really share with you, because, like I said, I didn't go over this, but keep an eye on that 65 EMA around 158, 159. That looks like that's going to be the nearest resistance. So far, it looks like we're retreating from that. But if we do manage to get above it, 180 is the next spot.
Okay, I will say I'm sorry that you didn't have enough time to prepare for this one, but that was a great job doing it live and under pressure. So hats off to you. I did find what I was looking for here. I told you that we were going to have fun today. I like to bring levity, jokes, and smiles to the program here. Wisdom also likes the same thing, so we'll do this a little bit. Wisdom said that his trap is in fact a donut, and we've talked a lot about D-Nut here and all that other stuff. I see your trap, Wisdom, and I raise you one of my own. My trap is very, very easy. It's pizza. In fact, I have a live look at me right now. This, I feel like every time someone brings up pizza, this is the battle that goes on in my head. And yeah, that's right. I generally end up swerving off to Pizza Town. So it is what it is. Wisdom, stay strong. You got this, bub. All right. Next here. Sorry. Next here, I have RNAS, which is a stock that we've definitely traded off of the relative volume scanner before. This is Transcode Therapeutics. Transcode Therapeutics shares are trading higher after the company announced the submission to the FDA for the IND, the Investigational New Drug Application amendment for a planned phase 2A clinical trial with one of its drugs. Now, that drug here, which is basically just a bunch of letters, that is for what is that drug for? How do you not say this in the stupid thing? Well, let me look it up. Here we go. Colorectal cancer. So another cancer drug here. Stock is up 41% on the back of this FDA investigational new drug application. Taking a quick peek at the short interest, 6.5% of the float shorted with 1.68 days to cover. This stock too is also not traded very often on a regular day, averaging only 57,000 shares per day. Today it's traded 7 million, but the float under a million here. So I got a float of 916,000 shares. 13. Did you cover RNAS here? What do you think?
Yeah. So, and there's another one that has a pretty low float, 916,000 shares. I think you just said that. The IND amendment. So they've already submitted the IND, and this is just an amendment to that. So there's been some material change to what they're going to be doing for their phase 2A clinical trial. And they just had to kind of, in my view, they had to update that. And I think the next piece of news you're going to see is the FDA's, response to that. It's like an approval. The company does still need cash, though, so I would think that we're going to see an offering at some point, especially if this phase 2A clinical trial hasn't gone underway yet. As these clinical trials go on, they tend to get more and more expensive. So I would think that upon that approval, we should still see between now and then maybe an offering of some kind. Looks like back on December 12th, they filed for 150 million mixed shelf offering. So that could be, I didn't look into that, but that could be one of the things that I'm referring to here in terms of capital raise.
13, let me just jump in here real quick. Yeah. You don't even need to look into it. You know why? Because our chat is awesome. X-Sniper here saying RNAS is a huge no-touch. It is on the permanent S list. Does that mean what I think it means list? Look at the daily. It rugs every time it moves up and dumps tons of offerings. So just what you were talking about, sounds like X-Sniper has some personal experience with this. X-Sniper, we will always take that, right? We will always take that. Be careful with this one. Just be careful with this one.
Yeah. So right now we're above, looking at the daily chart, I can see what he's talking about, how it seems like every time we get up to or over the 65 EMA, we just come right back in the following day, or even sometimes in some cases that very same day. So with this one here today, we are up above the 65 EMA. I would expect that we come back in. I just don't know how high we're going to go prior to that reversal. It looks like it's trying to set up to go higher, but the high might already be in. I think what we need to keep an eye on is whether or not it's going to get back above that VWAP, because if it can't recapture that before we open here, I think we're going to come back down to the 200 and the 65 EMAs.
Okay, really good stuff. Really clear plan there, and some personal experience from the chat members. That is awesome. All right, next on the list here, I don't necessarily know that we need to cover this. This is ZSL. This is the ProShare Ultra Short Silver, and y'all folks already knew about this because you've been talking about it already here this morning. The metals are down again here. Silver's at, SLV is at 67.75 right now. It closed yesterday at 79.18. That's why you see ZSL going up here. AQG, I think, is the other one. This is the ProShares Ultra Silver. This is the long side. This is getting absolutely Fargoed again here today. So we'll see. These are good trading vehicles. You guys do what you want to do with the metals. I certainly want to know what the plan is here today and what you're thinking on some of these metal trades, but that's why these are in the list here. I don't know that there's really anything else that we need to cover here. Next, however, is CISS, and this is C3IS, I think. This stock popped up in the pre-market here today about 237, just shy of 240, and it actually carved out an intraday double top there. Now, what's actually funding this? Looks like we had a 13D yesterday.
Yep.
C3IS and Imperial Petroleum are both Greece-based international shipping and transportation companies. Careful with the Greek shippers. No shade. Just seen this before. Zach, if you have any information on this, I'd love to hear it. Imperial Petroleum disclosed a beneficial ownership of 9.9 million shares in an SEC filing yesterday. That's sounds to be like what's causing the stock to trade up here. We're holding higher by about 26.32%. Take a peek at the short interest on this name. It's got some, but pretty negligible. 4.16% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. On average, stock trades 1.3 million shares of volume. Today, it's traded 27 already. And the float on this one is 1.23 million, right in our wheelhouse where it can be pushed around. 13, looking at this action here on the chart, what do you think here for ticker CISS?
The concern for me is that we double topped here in the pre-market. So I would think that we are going to probably get some more downside here, but we do have support coming in the form of the 200 EMA. We really haven't gone beneath that since we had the impulse move at 5 p.m. Eastern yesterday when that news about the 13D dropped. And it also looks to me like $2 has been a big resistance and support area. Every time, like for example, this morning, pre-market opened, it spent yesterday in the after hours trying to get above 4, couldn't really do it. Opened up the pre-market, we blast off through 4, and we hold above that for a time until about an hour later when we started getting a little shaky and ended up losing it. Then comes 7 a.m., and we shoot right through $2 again. So those high volume moves through $2 makes me believe that this $2 area has got some pretty heavy resistance. And if we do end up turning around, getting some support from the 200 EMA, that $2 area is going to be where I'd be keeping my eye on. Interestingly, the 65 EMA is now also right there. So $2 very big resistance area from here.
Okay, really good stuff there on CISS. Let me clean up a couple of direct questions here that the group was asking me. J. Michael said, Ryan, I remember last year saying that you had a buy order that I said was good till canceled for Bitcoin if it hit 70,000. Did you end up getting that filled? Indeed, I did, but I actually reduced the size of this order. When we had talked about this before, I had really kind of thought that 72K was going to be the bottom and that an overshoot on the dip might take us to 70K. And I'm trying to get cute with my buy there. I actually reduced this. I spent 500 USD. So yes, I did get filled on this order, but please understand, I'm basically nibbling on this. To be quite honest with you, the group's discussion here about Bitcoin and where it goes has me thinking that we actually might probe some of these lower levels. And if we do that, hold and confirm a reversal, I'd be more inclined to add more USD to that.
Was that before or after my chart that I gave you?
This was before the chart. I actually want to share your chart here in a sec. Since we're talking about Bitcoin, I want to move through the movers here real quick, but I absolutely want to share your chart because I feel pretty good about it. But J. Michael, to answer your question, yes, I did, but it really wasn't in any type of significant size. 500 USD is all I spent on Bitcoin on this pull down. I actually think we might see 65, maybe even 60. So just something else. Let me know what you think for a possible bottom there and where you would like to add. One other thing that I wanted to cover here real quick, Izzy asking, Ryan, Netflix was under 80 yesterday. Did you get any? No, I didn't. And again, I'm going to cite the group here on this. Here's a look at your Netflix chart real quick. This chart to me sure looks like this wants to probe lower. 13, you've been saying that when we came into this 80-81. I'm starting to believe that. And the other thing that I told you, Izzy, multiple times was that it probably is best if you wait for the Warner Brothers Discovery deal to fully consummate or to be out of the way. We talked about regulatory hurdles that might delay it. We talked about a number of other things. So I think that is actually going to be a good buy. I don't know the time frame. And frankly, I just didn't want, I would have bought stock instead of options here, and I just didn't want to tie that capital up. We're kind of thinking that the market pulls a little bit more here today. The last thing I want to do is initiate a new investment position on a stock that could get hit another 10, 20%.
And that vote to acquire Warner Brothers, that might not come until next month. So because Warner Brothers is still giving Paramount Sky a little bit more time to come up with a better offer. I think they've got the what I've been seeing in the news feed is that they've been given at least about 2 weeks, and if nothing comes out of that, then they're going to move forward with the shareholder vote in March.
Yeah. Okay. And so just being honest with you here, Izzy, I don't have like an infinite amount of dry powder here. And I just don't think that was the most responsible thing for me to do personally. I actually do agree with Lion, who's out here saying dollar cost average Netflix. If you have a long-term horizon on this, I don't see Netflix going anywhere. I think Lion's onto something here. I just chose to not do that myself, at least not yet. So, okay. And Izzy saying, I think that it's going to rip because there's uncertainty either way. You might very well be right on that. You might be. And I'll tell you something else, Izzy. When you make an absolute stinking fortune from this, don't forget about the rest of us. Don't forget about the rest of us. Okay, let's get back to the movers list here. Yeah, go ahead.
Kale is mentioning that AIM is moving. Certainly that's coming back up. It's moved through VWAP, but it's running into that issue at 180, that resistance there. So need to clear 180 from here while holding above VWAP. That could get us to some new pre-market highs, maybe even new highs in the regular session. We have 7 minutes till we open.
Okay. 7 minutes ahead of the hour here. You guys ever listen to radio, the old radio calls? We're 7 minutes ahead of the hour, 7 minutes past the hour.
Oh yes, man. I love my AM channels.
Man, dude, you guys are gonna laugh at me because I'm an effing boomer, but my radio in my car is locked in on ESPN 1000, the AM station. So I'm with you there. I picked up a lot of that stuff as a kid. It's hard to break. We're 6 minutes ahead of the hour here. And we're going to keep going here. HIMZ, that's HIMZ, is on the list here. That's the long ETF that's levered 2 times. So what we'll do here is we'll actually go to HIMZ, which is HIMS. It looks the same, but it's up only 13%. HIMZ is, of course, up 26%. Him and Hers Health shares are trading higher after the company announced an expansion of its weight loss specialty by enabling providers to prescribe a compounded semaglutide pill. So remember, the big thing here with semaglutide, I can't remember which way it's said properly, but GLP-1, we talked about this being in pill form and this kind of maybe being a big driver here because most folks don't like needles and injections. Well, now we're getting a compounded pill here from HIMZ that's popping the stock. Looks like 29 and change stopped this. We are still up by 11.6%, but let's keep in mind where HIMZ came from. This is what your daily chart looks like. We're basically right at a support level here, so perhaps this did bounce a little bit. What do you have on this, 13?
We're not only did we bounce off a support level, I marked this off as an area of consolidation. So if we do end up falling into it, we could be bouncing around in there for a little while. But this rebound off it, well, that's encouraging, but there's some resistance to the upside here that I see. You have the 20-day SMA, which has been pretty suppressive as far as the price action goes since October last year when we started selling off. But you also have this consolidation around the 28, 29 area, right about where the 20-day SMA is. So all that taken together seems to be a pretty tough area of supply to get through. So I would say from 29 to 30, there's going to be you're going to need to see some pretty good volume to get through that. Now, if we start closing above the 20-day SMA, we've had multiple closes above the 20-day SMA. I think we really need to recapture the 50. The 50 stands out as the big level.
What value do you have for the 50 there?
I have 33.67 right now.
Perfect. Okay. I've got the 65 EMA on the dailies at 35. That 33 to 35, that sure looks like a pretty important area. We'll see if we get above it, but good breakdown there on HIMS. That's what's going on. I only had one more on here that I wanted to cover. Where is it? It's the one that's highlighted. It's BNAI. This is one that recently went absolutely ham and actually did it for a couple of days before double topping about at 80. Came all the way back in, but it is popping again here today in the pre-market and is doing so on volume. Looks like we hit a high here of about 36.75 before coming back in towards the VWAP. Looking here at the news, we do have some new news here. Brand Engagement Network ends a $50 million standby equity deal, which enhances the capital structure and minimizes stockholder dilution. The stock was down 4.5% yesterday. It's up 26.5% here today. Quick peek at the short interest, elevated. 29.2% of the float is shorted with 1 day to cover. On average, stock trades 9 million shares. Today, it's traded 6.5 million, and the float is 4.7 million. 13, what do you think here on BNAI?
I think $30 looks like a big resistance area. Since we lost that price, I'm looking at a daily chart. Since we lost the the $50 level and kind of gapped down underneath 30, that's we've been getting some support, and we haven't closed beneath the 20-day SMA, so that's going to be another indicator to watch. But the fact that we did try to recapture 30 for 2 days following the sell-off and weren't successful makes me think that that's going to be where there's some resistance. The further I look to the left, I can see that at that $30 area, significant consolidation from the summer of 2024, right in that area. So I didn't expect that. There's still some folks, in that consolidated area. I would think $30 is going to be a big resistance. That if we do end up getting through it, it's going to take a lot of volume, and we might see a bit of a run here. I don't know how high it's going to go, but it's really, beyond 30 kind of looks interesting in the 35 area where you had support and resistance earlier this year.
Okay. All right. Was there anything else on the list that you had that you wanted to cover? I don't have anything else that stands out here.
No, I don't.
Okay, great. We are 2 minutes before the open, 32 minutes ahead of the hour, LOL. ZV Trades here asking, Ryan, what do you think Ondas does here today? Boy, you're really putting the pressure on me. What's it going to do today here? Looking at that, so actually, let me go to my bigger chart here on Ondas. We'll take a look at that. ONDS. Here's what I think. I think we actually are going to test the 100-day here today. I've got it here at 890. I've got it at 887 in my broker. I think that we test this here today. It does look like 895 stopped it here in the pre-market. We're bouncing a little bit here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we test that. I really want it to hold this. Remember, the last time we had this huge big sell-off when everyone was screaming at me, it stopped exactly at the 100-day. Maybe we'll get that again here today and then follow my curve that I have back up towards the highs. If I'm wrong, which is absolutely a possibility, you know what I'll do for you, ZV? We will consult the
5 seconds
8 ball, which you can't see because of the focus and all of that. We'll figure that out in a sec. We're open. Let's do it.
All right, so let's see if Kelly B can break this downtrend that it's been in since that.
That sounds like a singer for Destiny's Child, Kelly B. Just throwing it out there.
Getting support from the 65 EMA volume is looking like crap. I don't know if it's going to really do anything here, but just keep an eye on it in case it does. It does. It has a pretty nice setup. It's just missing the volume. AIM, this is still trying to push up to that 180 resistance area. Getting support from 165 and resistance from 180. So here we are kind of back and forth right now. Not sure which direction we're going to go, but I'm inclined to think maybe lower first. RNAS still sideways. CISS looks like there was a brief drop and then it went right back up toward the 65 EMA. Nothing really standing out right now.
Nope. Seeing some Tesla call sweeps here. Ooh, that one there is big.
Kelly B is halted to the very little upside that it did. Looks like we're getting some movement in Thought somebody mentioned Redwire. That jumped out of the gate. It was one of the space names that's been getting hammered this morning. Running into trouble with a 65 EMA right now. Let's see what else we have going on here.
Yeah, actually, just kind of looking at the relative volume scanner here, I don't really have a whole lot of anything yet. You'd mentioned AIM, looked like that stopped at 180 again.
Wisdom. Yosemite Sam's one of my favorite characters in Looney Tunes. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
All right, CISS getting above the 65 EMA and VWAP. We do have some sellers in the way at 209, 212, but we are getting a lift here. Momentum is starting to swing to the upside. Maybe 110, we see some of that resistance. But here we go. CISS is on the rise.
I just want to go ahead and give a one up here to X Sniper, who, when we started talking about Arnaz, immediately told everybody to be careful. Arnaz swatted away from its VWAP here and actually looks like it wants to print lower. So we'll see if it ends up doing that. Ed here says, I can tell you what happened to Ondas. I bought 1050 calls, so it got destroyed. And as it expires, it'll start to go back up. That is relatable. I understand exactly what you're talking about. Real quick here, Siri is popping to the open. They had earnings here this morning. Looks like the market likes that, plus 11.6% here. I'm still getting Siri calls for me to sign up for their radio because I took the trial. Bristol Myers here, ticker BMY. This up to the pre-market high. It looks like a 60 test coming here on Bristol Myers. Lion, weren't you very bullish on Bristol Myers and Merck? Bristol Myers reported earnings here today too, plus 4%.
CISS really trying to get over 110 here. Needs a little bit more volume to take out the seller at 212. AIM also trying to push up over that 180. I actually might get 180 here. It's got it. 190 is the high of the pre-market. So that's going to be the next area where the sellers are. They pushed it back down underneath 180. So still a tough area, that 180 to 190 in AIM.
Netflix, Izzy, you know what? Here, we'll give you an early registering just to get the vibes flowing here. Look at Netflix. We're above the pre-market highs. A good deal here. I'll tell you what. Here you go, Izzy. You're low there, about 79.5. So far, so good. That's actually 3 points on that buy there from yesterday.
The 20-day SMA is at 85.73 in Netflix. So if we climb up to there, just keep in mind that that's where you could find some resistance.
LIMN. This is Liminatus Pharma. This actually challenging yesterday's intraday highs. It is worth noting that when it spiked up to these levels yesterday, it got rugged almost back to where it started. So I would be very careful with this one. I would not try and chase this one. But Kathy, this is a good mention. Let's see if we can actually break two and really get rolling here. What does the daily look like? Okay. So this has actually been on a move the last couple of days here. Next, oh boy, we are coming up to some resistance here. Let's call it 2 to 210. Your next resistance level. That's LIMN.
Cam, I'm in neither one of those. I have Rocket Lab.
I don't have either of those space names. Either, Cam, sorry. Cost, are we testing our 1,000? Are we doing it? Let's do the thing. Oh, we did test it. We actually peaked above it looks like, and came back in here. I want to see this bust 1,000 and go higher. Look at Fubo, 6 to midnight, right out of the open here.
Yeah, 1,000 big resistance area too.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget, there are a bunch of targets that are like 1,050 and 1,100 there on Costco.
Here we go with CISS. Taking out the 110, 112, I'm sorry, 210, 212 area where there was some sellers. Getting up to the next area of resistance at 220. Good there.
Apple, which we talked about earlier, Apple, that traded up to 279.5 and then came back in. So Apple, which had been strong, this actually green to red here this morning. Let's see where I'd be looking at 274 next. I'm still missing Tenzin. Where did he go on vacation? Hopefully he comes back. Our Apple call out guy every day.
Kelly B, that unhalted and then went higher and into a halt. Do you see the trend? Oh wait, yours looks a little bit weird. Like I have a high of almost 120 from the impulse move out of the gate in the pre-market. It doesn't look like yours.
No, let me
right
check another charting software here, 13, and see if it's any different. No,
you can still
no.
draw the trend line. Just ignore that first move at 4 a.m. and just start with the 6:15 high and draw it through the high just that we had in pre-market just before the open.
There you go. I mean, we're right there.
So we are really close.
And 13, really quickly here, in my broker, I don't have anything.
Okay.
I don't have any. I mean, maybe I'm not seeing this right. Maybe there was like a phantom print up there. I don't really see anything above 120.
So really nice movement here with CISS. We got up to 232, backing off now after sellers started stepping in, but really great movement here out of the gate with CISS.
So what do we want next year? We want maybe a back test to this 212, 213 area?
If we're going to come back in here, we need to hold above VWAP.
Yeah, so that's VWAP. 212, 213 is what I have for VWAP here. So if we hold that on the way back, maybe that's actually a potential long side trade here.
Yeah. And as long as we hold above VWAP, as long as this volume that we're getting is still like it is, I think we'll try and push a little bit higher. But we got to have those components.
Okay, Webcoin here. I love this. Yes, LIMN. Let me bring it up here while we're talking about it. LIMN is a multiple rug pull. The pulls when the base are okay to enter so far. So when it pulls, basically, you're saying adding it on that weakness has worked out. Look, we just talked about it. I compared it to yesterday. We traded up into the exact same area that we were in yesterday, and look what's happening. It's coming back in.
Sorry to interrupt. Arnaz.
You're not sorry, but that's okay. We'll keep going.
Okay, you're right. Arnaz is starting to get a little bit of volatility here. It's been trying to get over 12 since it lost it in the pre-market. So it's kind of spready, but it looks like 12 is the breakout spot here. So just keep an eye on it and see if it is going to break through that. The volume just needs to be a little bit better, and we can get through that. But here we are trying to hammer through 12. If we get through that, $13 looks like the next big resistance area. No closes above $13 in the pre-market, so pinning the next resistance area right there at $13.
Tess says sorry, not sorry. Yeah, that's and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. That was actually a good breakdown there too on Arnaz. One thing I would add to it though, that 1227, that's going to be your VWAP. Definitely need to move through that. Let's take what X Sniper has learned firsthand from the stock before. We also have a bunch of like wicking action up to that VWAP without a really good attempt to close above it. So I would be watching that here too. No position for me on Arnaz.
Memory names are flying again.
I'm not surprised. Let's start with SanDisk, then we'll do Micron after that. Here's SanDisk. Let me reset this chart. Come on. There we go.
I'm not really particularly liking the way this looks on Micron. It's great that we are recapturing the 20-day SMA, but we still have a whole day ahead of us. The momentum on the MACD has already swung to the downside. I'm not sure this is going to get back above 400. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it's looking a little weak here to me. And like I said, we still have a whole day, so let's see what we end up getting. But 400 from here is going to be the next resistance area.
It's a good mention there and having the whole day. But as Jay is saying here, dip buyers in memory, all of them went red to green. All of them went red to green. So at least early on here, that's telling you that there's a buyer here. Looks like Western Digital actually flirted with the red-green line, couldn't quite do it, but it is still significantly up off the low. SanDisk and Micron both did red-green moves.
CISS on my chart is now trading underneath the VWAP, trying to recapture it. Arnaz still holding above all the other moving averages, but still having trouble with the $12 area. AIM got hit. Still hasn't been able to get a candle to close above the VWAP, and now this is starting to look like it could weaken further, meaning some lower prints. Be careful with AIM.
Okay. I lost my train of thought there. Had it right there. VIX, quick check-in on the VIX, 21.09. We're actually come in a little bit from the 2211 high, but that VIX still elevated here. Amazon. So Izzy here mentioning that Amazon is pounded. This thing was straight down out of the gate. It looks like it's trying to bounce. Don't forget, big thing to note here. Amazon reports earnings here tonight. And so what do you guys think? You think Amazon puts out a good number here, puts out a good report?
CISS coming up to 230, trying to take this seller out now.
I'm unfortunately not long this, but 13, this has been pretty good.
This is pretty good. And
Kay Tyler says it's broker only at toss. So you had to call. This is on the restricted list.
Be careful with this one too, because if we can't get through this 230 area, then we're facing a triple top situation. So just keep that in mind. If we're unable to get above and hold above 230, I think that we have a good chance of turning around and going much lower. So just keep that in mind if we can't get through 230 here.
Feed halted to the upside. So a dip and rip into an upside halt at 325 on feed.
How's the volume on feed today? Because the volume earlier this
not
year,
good. 415,000. Okay. So barely any.
Yeah, because there was a lot more volume earlier this year with this one, and I get the sense that it's kind of getting a little tired, or there's some holders that are trapped in it, so you're not seeing a lot of price action because people are just kind of holding on to shares.
Wow, we got a big, unusual option move here. So I'm sorry to interrupt there,
okay.
Tim. You guys were talking here about Broadcom. Jay, it was you. You were saying Broadcom was getting bid. Indeed, it was. Really quickly here on Broadcom, trader buys 683 contracts of the 300 put that expires December 18th of this year. So this is a bearish bet on Broadcom using the 300 strike and the December monthly expiry. Trader spent $2.96 million on that trade. That is a big time bearish bet on Broadcom. I mean, I suppose they could have sold those.
And it's going up.
So maybe he sold them. I don't have debit or credit, so I can't confirm that for you. But lot of activity right there in that December 300 put.
Oh. So congratulations, Big Hurt. He took the risk with Kelly B, and it is paying for him. And wouldn't you know it, we have a great breakout of this.
Oh boy!
Trend line.
All right, here you go. You'll get a register ring for that. This is why I wouldn't never traded this, so I don't even feel bad about missing it.
Now let me ask you, Big Hurt, because I think I know what the answer is. Where do you think it goes? 100? Is that where you're jumping out at as 100, or are we breaking through 100 and going higher? Because 100 looks like a big resistance level from here.
Jay here saying, Ryan, it could be a hedge against a long position. There's no way to know. You're right about that. And that's the thing, Jay, like some of these unusual options, there's no way to know for sure, but I'm just trying to deduce as much as I can. That stood out to me. $3 million bet stood out to me either way. Lion says he will lose his money and then laughs at him.
He's just going to sit in his chair just thinking about it and laughing. Or I'm sorry, in his den.
Apple, yeah, Lion's Den. Apple reversed off that 279.5. We're actually at 273 here. A pretty big intraday swing there on Apple. And Amazon, after its pull, has firmed up at least a little bit.
Izzy doesn't like Kelly B. We're not getting married to this thing. We're just dating it real quick.
Speak for yourself.
I haven't touched it.
Neither have I.
But we do have some folks here that are absolutely killing it here. Big Hurt nailing it. So if anybody's don't let me stop you from doing your trades, folks. I'm just pointing out the risks. And Big Hurt said, you know what? It's worth it, and he's getting paid.
And don't forget, we can't tell you what to do. We cannot tell you what to buy or sell. I keep seeing questions from people in the chat saying, should I buy this? Should I buy more of this? Guys, we can't tell you that. You have to determine that.
Yes, we are, Lion. We are doing great with MRK. Absolutely phenomenal. getting a little extended. I think we are running up into some resistance. If you look at this area back from the spring of 2024, there's a lot of consolidation from about where we're at, like 120 to about 135. We have this overhead supply. I'd expect that we're going to run into some, some consolidations, maybe some back and forth there for a time, but still think we could end up going higher. It just might take some time to get through that. Why is Kelly B up 749%? Because it's an absolutely junk company that has an extremely low float that's very easy to push around. So it's going to probably be a halt fest today. There comes with significant risk if you're trading it.
Yep.
But if you know what you're doing and you have a plan and you've got your stops and your name is Big Hurt, you're doing great. PLTR buying. We did have a pretty significant sell-off as of late. I think this may just, if we're seeing any buying, I think bargain hunters are trying to sniff out a bottom. I don't think it's here yet. I think we still go lower. Now there's going to be a lot of back and forth over time. I don't think we're going to immediately shoot down to, I believe we're going to 90. I don't think we're going to immediately shoot down there, but it's going to be, a lot of back and forth on the way down. Market's trying to rebound. Also keep in mind, folks, I know that we're experiencing some weakness in the market right now, but we are anywhere near a significant pullback. I mean, we haven't even.
Do you want me to bring up an indice chart so we can actually kind of visualize that here, 13?
Sure. I'll just tell you. I can just tell you right now, because if you are going to look at the SPY and look at the all-time high of 697.84, a 5% pullback would take us down to 662.95. We're not even, we still have a ways to go. We still have 20 points to go before we get.
And that's a 5% pullback. That's like normal stuff. That's like not even a bad thing.
A 10% correction. Well, that's going to take us down to 628.06, and that's even beyond the 200-day SMA, and that's 10% correction. We want to start getting into some larger corrections than that, like a 15%. We're going under 600. So this movement that we're getting here today, I don't think this is anything we really need to get concerned or scared about. It's when we start losing some key support levels as when we can start I guess in a sense panic, but we're not even anywhere near that yet.
Yeah, our group's not allowed to panic. We're gonna make good decisions here, regardless of what happens. We're not gonna panic. We're not allowed to do that. We got way too many smart people here sharing their thoughts to be panicking. Number one. Number two, 13. One of the things that I had said right out of the open here is that we sure look like we're going to test the 100-day on the SPY. The last time we tested the 100-day, we bounced. It certainly wasn't an end of the world scenario. And guess what? 681.50 is your 100-day. We actually were beneath that here in the pre-market. So,
yeah.
Dang.
And that 680 level, that was support. Also 678.47, that's a previous all-time high. We weren't too far away from there, just about 28 cents. So I think if we lose 680, that's when things could get really bad, and we start seeing more downside. We are trading beneath the 50-day SMA, so we'll have to see if we can recapture that. Where are we at with the 20-week? Because that's another one I've been keeping an eye on. Okay, so the really weird candle from earlier this week, that wick on the bottom, kind of messing with me a little bit. Well, we came down pretty close to that 20-week SMA. That's the one I've been keeping an eye on. If we start closing underneath that, I think that's going to tell us more downsides ahead.
Okay. Good stuff there. Anne-Marie doing a elbow drop from the top rope here. People are not used to this, so their brains will need recalibration. I would completely agree with that. Goes on to say here that 680 is the big put wall. So that lines up quite a bit with some of the levels that we have been talking about here. So good stuff.
You always win me over with from the top ropes. You're always going to win me over with that.
Yeah, I know. I'm Macho Man Randy Savage flying around from that. I mean, come on.
That I grew up, during that era. I know. I grew up, well, I got out of high school and was hanging out with friends, and we were watching the Attitude Era. That was some of the greatest times. But yeah, from the top ropes will always win with me.
Yep. Ed, I did add a little bit to IDAI under 3. I will say be careful with that one, though, because they did a warrant deal with Maxim, and those warrants are the warrant price. The transaction price was 420. I think it could go back there. I think it could go back there pretty quick, but I don't trust Maxim. I don't like that was part of the deal. So I just factored that in. I don't have a huge position in that.
I was getting pointed out. Let's see who said this. Pretty Panda. LIMN has the potential to fly. Looking at a daily chart here, this has been getting some pretty good volume all month. And I know we aren't too far into the month, but all month it literally, we turned to February and suddenly we're just taking off now. We've recaptured the 20 and the 50-day SMAs. We have a silver cross about to occur. The one issue that I have with this is that $2 looks like that's a significant resistance area. But to your point, Pretty Panda, if we do get the volume that takes us over $2, I think we could pretty easily get up to 260, maybe even 3.
Real quick here, LIMN, shout out to Kathy who brought this up early. We were actually talking about this breaking the after hours highs on its way into the resistance area, which it pulled back from. Now it's actually set some new highs, 13. I think that 2 test likely on deck here. One more thing here real quick. Jay Villa Gaming, what are your thoughts on software versus AI? I honestly think people are not counting the synergy between both. So I think that one of the things that you're seeing here is you're seeing hardware versus software kind of play out in the market. When the hardware stocks are strong, sometimes the software stocks are not. What do I think of it versus AI? I think software is going to have to work hand in hand with AI in order for this to be useful at all. Okay. So I completely agree with the synergy comment here. I think that the pullback in some of the software names is just kind of a resetting of expectations. The reality is if company XYZ comes out with product ABC and it is amazing and utilizes AI, that software name is going to go crazy.
We had Kelly B open out of on their halt, went higher over 100. Now it's halted at 109.02.
Brent, what island are you pricing out right now? Are you looking in the Caribbean or is it around Nassau? Where are you gonna? Where's the island you're looking to buy with the trade that you just made here on Kelly B?
I don't know. We want to be talking about islands right now.
13, dude. It's cold and snowy, man. I mean, an island would be sick. So, sorry.
No, I'm there with you, but I guess it's not. Well, it's not really that cold over here, so I can't understand what you're dealing with right now.
Yeah, it's good for Walker. Really quick here, Brock made 40% on my SPY calls. Were those a day trade? It must have been, right? Did you just buy the 680 pullback? Or thereabouts?
CISS. This did get that resistance up around the I forget exactly what the number I gave was, but 230, where some of the other highs were in the pre-market. It rejected the price down underneath the VWAP, and now we're trying to recapture the VWAP right now in CISS. Meanwhile, RNAS still a whole lot of sideways action. AIM is trying to aim higher, but it's not getting it right now. Kelly B, the most dangerous one that that's out there right now is the one that's doing the best. But we could come out of this halt and just absolutely crater. So just be careful with this one. I don't think I need to tell anybody that's that bought it before the breakout. They're doing just fine. So make sure you have your stops ready and that you're managing this trade.
$13 was the number I did not want to say. Ed says I'm on Palm Beach Island, and that's nice to have, and unfortunately not in the market.
Hey, Lion. That's why I didn't want to talk. I don't want to talk about islands right now.
I don't know why those supporters would be mad. Software slam because of Anthropic killing it. So let me ask you: do you think Anthropic is going to win the race to IPO? Or do you think OpenAI is going to IPO first?
I don't know. I haven't even given that any thought. I really don't know.
Well, there's been news here about both of those companies trying to race to IPO first. And one of the other things that I was saying earlier, 13, is that this SpaceX XAI thing, this IPO is going to act like a giant fire or explosion, and it's going to suck all of the oxygen. That is going to be the biggest IPO. I think that's actually going to be bigger than OpenAI and Anthropic personally. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I sure think that it's going to be the SpaceX XAI combo IPO. And I'm just wondering, whichever one comes out first, does it take money away from others? I'm not sure. I think it's going to. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to.
I don't know that it's going to take money out of others that are set to IPO. If it's going to take money out of anything, it's going to take it out
the
of
Mag 7.
What's already in the market.
Okay.
I would think that maybe you see even more selling in not only the Mag 7, but like Broadcom, AMD, maybe even Micron. Anything that's associated with AI hardware probably gets rotated out of and into the Anthropic.
You know what? That would be very interesting to see if some of those memory names come in from an AI IPO. That to me, I think would be notable. Really quickly here, for those that were asking about HIMS, we had the impulse move in the pre-market. We had a pullback. Now we're trading sideways at VWAP, literally right here, almost to the penny. So maybe this is going to pick a direction. I don't think it's going to stay here at $27 all day. So pick a direction here. If I saw volume flowing into this, I'd probably want to try this here to the upside. Maybe you get a pop towards 29.30.
Yeah, HIMS looks like that's trying to consolidate to push higher. Let me look at this.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at here. And I actually think the spot right now is not terrible. Retro saying, Ryan, are you adding to IDAI at these levels? So I already did nibble a little bit. I don't want to add anymore because, again, I don't want to get too big on this name. It's going to be very thin. It's not going to be easy to get out of. As I've said from the beginning of this is a high risk, high reward, although it is part of a theme that I absolutely love for this year. I've added yesterday and the day before, so I'm probably just going to be a little bit more patient here. This stock's not performing. It's not doing well. We're expecting news. I don't know when, if we're going to get that, but I am not going to go too big on this name. Not at these prices, no.
How does SpaceX relate to Artemis? So, Artemis is the NASA developed space launch vehicle that's going to be sending astronauts back to the moon. And Starship is, going to help. Well, they've got a ways to go. Starship, SpaceX does, because they're still doing flight tests of Starship, and one of the next big things that they've got to do is demonstrate successfully orbital refueling. That's going to be the thing that is going to enable us to go to Mars and other planets. But when it comes to SpaceX and Artemis, I think SpaceX is one of the candidates that's being used to take not just supplies, but I think at some point also more astronauts in future missions. I think right now the focus that I have on SpaceX right now, which is why I don't have a whole lot on their relationship with Artemis, is the getting the orbital refueling, getting the Block 3 configuration going. That's the latest configuration of Starship, and they've got a whole new launch system for that they're going to test for the first time when they do this new Block 3 launch. So I haven't really been paying a whole lot of attention when it comes to Artemis and SpaceX relationship. I'm more focused on just the Starship aspect of SpaceX and getting that vehicle ready to go for commercial missions.
I told you, my boy's wicked smart. All right, MicroStrategy here, getting a couple of mentions. MicroStrategy actually just broke 117. You guys were talking about this coming into 117. We've talked about a number of possible areas here. On my larger chart, I actually had like a purple region extended all the way out. We are now at the bottom end of that region. Almost wonder if $100 test here is coming in MicroStrategy. This is the battle for Sailor. I will say it absolutely does feel like somebody's trying to squeeze Sailor. It really does. I don't know I don't know what's going to end up happening here with this one. They report earnings here today. Sailor had a video that I saw. Actually, I'll see if I can find the tweet. It's from our friend Markets and Mayhem here, and it had me in absolute stitches yesterday. Let me see if I can find that. And I should have picked this for the street tweets.
I think I'm looking for 100 here in MSTR. That's the bottom of my channel.
Yeah.
That I have.
Oh, where is this?
And Lion's saying it's going to go under 100. Maybe it does. I think 100 you're going to see support initially. If we do get down there as quickly as we have been coming in, I think you're going to initially see a $100 bounce. But I'm not going to say that it's going to completely reverse and go higher from there. We could see a lot of back and forth once we hit 100. Maybe we do go underneath it.
Hey, Nowhere Man, how do you like them apples? Answering my Goodwill Hunting quote with one of his own and then tying it to the market. Oh, you can get a one up for that, buddy. Let's go. Here we go. I encourage you folks, for any of you interested in this saga, if you will, here's the actual tweet from our friend Markets and Mayhem. He says, I have to wonder what it's like to be this high. Watch the video of Sailor talking about volatility in Bitcoin. Remember that. Oh, man, this might have been one of the funnier tweets that I saw yesterday. So an improvised addition to street tweets here from a friend of Benzinga, Markets and Mayhem here on Michael Saylor. He's basically explaining that volatility is good for investors because eventually Bitcoin's going to 10 million. So get on board. I'm speaking, MicroStrategy getting pounded down yet another dollar. We're about to break it to a 115 handle. Yikes.
Yeah, Len, that's some of the limitations with Starlink right now, but just give it enough time. They're going to they continuously come out with new versions of their satellites, and they're just going to keep improving. At some point, they'll have all those capabilities that ASTS's satellites do, and I think I think ASTS could be just living on borrowed time.
JJ says, Ryan, who's the they? And they are trying to take Sailor's company to 100. I think Bitcoin bears. Sailor seems to be the spokesperson for Bitcoin. I mean, I guess some people might view that as Tom Lee, I suppose. But Michael Saylor, I feel like there's probably fund guys, guys. I don't necessarily want to relate it to Peter Schiff. I don't think he has anything to do with it necessarily. I just think that there's like Saylor's trying to disrupt traditional finance by adding Bitcoin to its balance sheet and making this whole thing. And I think that there's a bunch of other people out there that don't like it, and a lot of them are Bitcoin bears. So I suspect that that's all kind of going on there.
I would say that the they includes Michael Burry.
Okay, that's fine.
He's been. I mean, just think of all the biggest Bitcoin bears. He's been a big one.
And really quickly, just to be clear here, if I'm saying something like they, it's because I can't draw you a map to exactly who this is, but what I'm emphasizing there is that it feels like this is a coordinated effort to drive the stock down. That's what it says. Say it, Ryan. Lion says, say it, Ryan. Me and Peter Schiff. Lion, I love you to death, man. And I'm so grateful for your support here on a daily basis. But you are a absolute minnow in a huge sea, and Michael Saylor is a much bigger fish. I'm sorry, it's not an insult; it's just reality. I don't think you're a part of that. Could Bitcoin be heading below 50K? I personally don't think that's going to happen.
Well, pull up the chart. Let's see. No, the one I sent you. Or the one that you wanted to show everybody.
Oh, gosh. This was from last night from the happy hour. Here you go. I love this chart, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to blow it up a little bit. Start here, and I'm going to work backwards.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you want to talk about it? Do you want? How do you want to do this?
I thought you were talk about it. So no, basically it's just something that this scene with Bitcoin. It seems like ever since its inception here, you have this, and you could even go back to 2013 when we were making highs in November. It seems like it's on. Maybe Bitcoin, cryptocurrency people know this better than I do, but it goes on these 4-year cycles where every time that we make a new high, 4 years later we make another new series of highs in a rally, and we use the previous rally's high as support. So that happened in 2017 when we got up to about 20,000. When it came back in, we got support from the area that the 2013 highs were from. So similarly, when we ran up in 2021 and we came back in, we got support from the 2017 highs. And then we went on a rally to the current one that we just had in 2025. So now with this rally coming back down or ending and the price coming back in, I'm thinking that the support area is going to be in the area where the 2021 highs were. And that's going to be in about 62 to 65,000.
Okay.
Somewhere just in that area, maybe a little bit high, maybe about 62 to 68. It's right in there. Just look at the 21 highs, make a sideways channel. That's where the price is going to end up finding support, I think.
The Bitcoin futures right now are at 68.8. So, I mean, we're coming in. It still looks weak here today. It looks like it's going to probe a lower level here today.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
We're in the channel right now, so we could be finding support very soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It could actually go a little bit lower to the low end of the channel, too, which is one of the reasons I'm trying to be as patient as possible. Oh, look at that. We're checking back in on MicroStrategy. It's down another $2. LOL. LIMN, this never broke 2 here. How did Netflix end up doing, Izzy? Netflix, okay, so that went to what, 83? Kind of stopped there. Still a pretty good move off the open. You guys are mentioning Microsoft. Feel like we haven't checked that enough. Now, Microsoft. Now, this gap, boy, we are almost at a gap fill, aren't we? Yep, 395 is going to be that gap fill. That's coming up here, 399 right now.
That's starting to look pretty attractive. Kelly B, by the way, that unhalted blasted up to 123, and then it reversed, and now it's halted down at where the last halt was. So I don't know. Maybe this party's starting to show its end.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you.
What happened?
I'm laughing at JJ's comment here because this is about as awesome as it gets. Can we get Tim Melvin to spend 20 minutes talking about Bitcoin next week? So I don't know if we can fill 20 minutes, JJ, but if we did, there might be some curse words in there and probably some other colorful language. That would be something. I don't know if we can do that, though. I'll ask him. You know what? I'm going to clip that and I'm going to email that to him, JJ. That's too good.
Arnaz finally did something and it's not good. So this is probably done for the day.
Where's X Sniper?
Or maybe just the morning. But this Arnaz lost, after going sideways for a good portion of the morning, finally lost support at the 11 handle, lost the 65 and 200 EMAs on the 5-minute, and we are sinking right now.
Where's X Sniper? X Sniper, man. Take your victory lap, bro. You called this as soon as we were looking at this. Yeah, that thing is a dump. Lol. Let's go. What a humble victory lap. What a guy. What a guy. I love it. Folks are giving me a ton of energy today. The market's getting blasted. My portfolio's down, but we're out here having fun and laughing.
Yeah, who needs coffee when you have a full cup of chat?
Yeah, full cup of chat. 13, you brighten my day too, buddy. Oh my.
CISS, this is trying to recapture the VWAP. It was looking pretty good when it was moving up towards the VWAP, but we get there and it slows completely down. So need to see a volume expansion here to get through these sellers here at VWAP. MIJ saying, I really like Tim Melvin. You might really like some of his products. If you like the way he thinks and structures his ideas, you'll almost certainly like some of his services. That's a trade alert service. He's got one that he pairs with Anne Marie too. That's amazing. So you might want to take a look at that. We run free webinars for that where we have sales on it. You might want to look at that. All right, so we were getting asked about this LIMN again. Let's see here. What's this looking like now? I should probably put it in my broker. Let me just do that real quick.
LIMN is building. I actually like this. So we have the impulse move up. This is actually building above its VWAP. I have VWAP there at 178. So if it loses that, maybe it gets to a support level there. But I'm talking about it, and it started to move down. So I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah, no, I'll keep talking because I think that this is getting a little bit dicey. I think this is probably not going to work with the way the volume's starting to leave this. It's descending volume. Hopefully we get some kind of a spike here because the MACD is also indicating that the momentum could roll over here too if we start selling soon. So it looks to me like 175 is a support area right now. Got to get and hold above this VWAP, and if we can, it looks like 190 is going to be the resistance. So there you go, 175 support, 190 resistance. Which way is it going to go? I also see a large seller in the way at 203. So we're going to need to see some way bigger volume than what we have right now if we're going to get through that guy or girl.
So more selling here, folks. SPY and NASDAQ and Dow all at the lows here. Looks like some of the individual names are at the lows here. Amazon, not the best day to be reporting earnings. Amazon getting absolutely smoked here today. Someone do a wellness check on Izzy. Make sure he's okay.
CISS looking good. Coming up to some of the resistance that we were seeing in the pre-market here. We was concerned about a triple top. We're coming up to test that again. We might be able to break through this high of 235. Looking pretty good here with CISS. Just need to see that volume expand a little bit more so we can make some new highs.
Yeah, one more thing here, folks. Just Zach's comment reminded me about this all getting smoked. Lion, your comment being down 22 grand here today also reminds me of this. When you go to some of these other Discord rooms or FinTwit or something like that, do not be thrown off of your game. If you see people posting eye-popping gains about very quickly shorting this and making $10,000 or whatever it is, don't be thrown off your game. This is not easy. And a day like today, most people that hold positions are probably having a rough day here today. You are not alone. So if you're staring at a red P&L column in your broker, look around. Look at what the market's doing. You are not alone, and you did not necessarily do anything wrong. Know what you own. Was your thesis good? Is the thesis still intact? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Seeing someone else short something, making 10 grand real quick, doing a victory lap about it, that can just really kind of distract you from the goal. Don't let that happen. Do not let that happen. That's my advice for you here today.
This is a good day for your own personal rules to be exercised. So
that's right.
If you have
absolutely
rules
right
that makes you back away from your from trading, if you're having losing trades, you know, enforce those rules. Sometimes when on days like this, there's no trade quite like no trade. So it's just a good idea that if things aren't working out, if it doesn't look like it's that great of a day, spend some more time doing some research and preparing for the next day, and maybe you'll have some things that look better that you can make some money back on the following day. But if you're having a bad day, back away from it and just come back a refreshed another day.
Here's Palantir. Palantir snapping 130 now. More downside. Looks like it's coming here. Palantir. Next spot, I think we talked about this. Yep, 125.
Looks like LIMN tried to get above that 190, still unable to do it. Still have that seller in the way at 203 as well. But this is looking like it's trying to push up there. Just need to get a little bit more volume. Volume.
Vic here saying, thank you for your composure during days where everyone else is panicking. Vic, I've tried the panicking thing. I've had such bad days where I've literally been crying, like, what did I do wrong? I've panicked. I have had my life flash before me. I've canceled subscriptions because I'm trying to save money because I got absolutely smoked. Here's what I'll tell you. Panicking never helped me. Those tears, they didn't do anything for my account. You know what did? Planning. Being safe, making sure that, hey, this is what's going on right now. Why is this going on? Do I understand it? And then planning for what's next here. 13 and I have done a lot of talking here about how have your list ready, have your research done on days like this, know what you're looking for so that you can do that when the times are not great, when everything is going up and the heat map looks like a giant green block, everyone in here is, you don't need my help. Everyone in here is happy. Days like this, though, just remember, live to fight another day. Live to fight another day, and don't get sidetracked. Do not step away from your plan.
Yeah, lungs don't freak out when you exhale. That's a really weird analogy. I'm just...
I know where you were going with that, though.
Yeah, they don't spasm when they exhale. Market breathes too, you know. This is just an exhale.
And the other thing that I will say, on days where it feels like your portfolio in particular is pulling back, if you're really, really agitated and you don't feel good and all of that, look inward and start checking some of your own emotions. Why do you feel like that? Look at any chart. It goes up and down. We're in a down period. This too shall pass. Better times are ahead. So if you're having that conflict, if it's making you feel something inside, look inside. Don't look outside. Look inside. We've all been there. Thank you, Tess. We have all been there. I remember the morning I woke up and one of my stocks, we found out that it was fraudulent, and I'm down like 20 grand in a day like Lion. It wasn't good. It sucked, frankly. But that's what happens in this business.
Michael Anthony asking, isn't, I think he needs quadruple U. Isn't the shares under the values since a director bought all the fund and all the funds bought? I think what he's asking is, isn't it below the price for all these directors and funds were buying the stock? If so, well, maybe they're going to add. I don't think they're going to sell. Tom Lee run.
Here's your chart for you. Work Life says, thanks, Ryan. Psychology is so important. You've just turned mine from negative anxiety to positive forward looking. If I do that for one person, then I'm happy today. And Work Life, really quick, we bring Mark Petrino on every Friday. And every Friday he talks about market psychology and what that is and how important that is. And you know what? Let's see what he says tomorrow. I bet he's not going to be panicking. I bet he's not going to be worried. I bet he even has a joke.
And go Steve mentioning here, think of like when we had the turnaround in 2021 and the sell-off in 2022, that near bear market that we had as a result of the Russia invading Ukraine. That started at the beginning of 2022, and we sold off the entire year. In addition to that, we started raising rates. So this too shall pass. It might take a little while. It took all year for 2022. In 2023, we spent a little bit going sideways and recovering, and then 2024, fantastic year.
How about April this year? And I'm not even talking about the political side of it. I'm talking purely on the market movement. There was panic, there was fear, there was limit down talk, and look what happened. Not long after that.
He is talking about just triple U, not quadruple U. Sorry, I thought you were talking about quadruple U, since we tend to look at that quite frequently. We haven't looked at universal safety products in a while. What's the thought here with this one? Let's take a look.
While you're looking into that here real quick, Nowhere Man, you are popping with the quotes here today. I'm not going to repeat it because there's a curse word in there, and I try not to do that. But that Ving Rhames quote from the beginning of Pulp Fiction. Yep. What are you looking at, Paluco?
I already know what he's talking about.
Yep. Okay. All right. Let's try to stay on task here. Sorry for the rant there, but just felt like maybe that was what was required a day like today. Hey, look at this. In a sea of red and a lot of anxiety out there, Pepsi is green. What does that tell us? Consumer staples? Maybe this is a move to rotating into defensive names. Let's take a look at the market overwatch.
Well, if that's the case, it sounds like a prelude to recession.
Here we go. Consumer staples and healthcare, your green pockets here today.
And then Michael, regarding UUU, I don't know where the directors and funds were buying this at, but this 200-day SMA we've kind of been riding up for all of 2025, it seems, and so that would be the area of support that I would be looking at here. I don't know a whole lot about this company, but just looking at the chart, that's where I think the support's going to come into play if we continue lower here.
One more thing here, Retro. Ryan, you were speaking of February being a potentially weak month and a down for the market, and it's playing out just as expected. The traditional seasonality stats, and Anne-Marie, check me on this because you follow this better than I do. I believe that typical seasonality ends in the middle of March. So if that plays out here, we got a month more of this. Don't panic too early. Well, I shouldn't even say panic because we already talked about that, but don't get too anxious too early there. Market here. So SPY actually looks like maybe we're starting to put in some type of firmed upness. That's not right. Well, okay. Maybe it's firming up here. That's how you say it in proper English. I've got this at about 676. Did you have any all-time high levels that was down here in the 677, 676?
I should. Let's take a look here and see what I got.
And while you're doing that, thank you, Amory. Early March. Yes, Jay, who's been doing this for longer than I have, saying that February is traditionally the second worst month of the year. Zach saying maybe mid-February. So it is what it is.
I don't have previous all-time highs in this area, but 676 is a very interesting support and resistance area. Since we've been up here back in October, this had a lot of like I think I made a point about this at some in our happy hour. Only it seems like a lot of the moves through this to where it closes on the other side of that handle have been very, very big volumetric moves. So that's and if they're not, then they get rejected, whether it be resistance or support. So 676 does stand out as a pretty big support level from here. But if we start trading underneath it, then it's going to become a very big resistance level. Toilet paper and Pepsi, all you need. That's quite a party.
I'm like trying to think of somewhere ready to go with that, and I just don't even have it.
Well, no, I mean he's talking consumer staples and discretionaries, and this is one of the things we've been talking. We talked about this a lot last year. All the sectors that were getting absolutely hammered down, that were more consumer or human oriented. Probably going to end up doing well this year, and so far it's been the case. Meanwhile, you have all the AI and tech-driven names, everything that was made for the whole AI theme. That's now doing poorly when it was doing great last year.
Lion here. Actually, this is a really good point I hadn't even mentioned yet. In a couple of weeks, the tax refunds will start hitting people pockets, and the liquidity it will start hitting people's pockets. Yes, of course. And the liquidity will be huge. So first of all, from what I've heard from others, refunds are indeed bigger than normal here. I know Besant had been talking about that. I myself in one, I actually can't. I have a tax guy do it for me, and I can't even provide him all of my documents yet because it's not available from my broker. So I don't know personally, but from other stuff that I've seen, indeed that's the case. And Lion's right here. When that hits, we might see that reflected here in the market. That'll be an interesting thing to watch. And that it'll be interesting to see how much liquidity that actually adds. Okay.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up here. So we have right now in Asia is by the way, Kelly B is really coming back in.
I'll put that on screen here. I got nothing else.
So. We have the Lunar New Year happening right now, so there's a lot less liquidity going on. So this is kind of a seasonal downturn that we tend to have because we have a lot less liquidity with Asian markets being closed for that holiday. But we'll get we should getting a big rebound once they start coming back, and that's going to run from in China the Spring Festival runs until February 17th to 23rd. But once we start getting past all these festivals and traders in Asia are starting to return, we'll see better liquidity. We could see a rebound here and maybe even a rally.
Rio Tinto moving down here on volume. Seeing news, Rio Tinto no longer considering the merger with Glencore. So Glencore here, that's going to be this. Glencore down 10% on this.
And why do they do that?
I don't have any other context around that.
It looks like they might have, been unable to come to some kind of agreement as there was a deadline. I've seen from yesterday that they the merger hangs in the balance as a deadline looms.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't read this Financial Times article because it's behind a paywall, but get the sense that the deal broke down because they ran out of time, or they just weren't able to see eye to eye on something. I don't know.
Anne-Marie saying this is pretty big news. Anne-Marie, I'm trying to think. Do you have any knee-jerk reactions to this and what we might look at, or what might be next here?
Yeah, Lion. I think I'm sticking with my Dollar General. That's been a great winner for me when it comes to some of these grocers. Not that Walmart's not great. I think it is, but Dollar General was absolutely hammered down, and it still has a good amount of upside possible.
Oh, Buffalo by Bicycle. I love this comment. My covered calls should be expiring tomorrow. No problem. There you go. I bet Anne-Marie likes that too. Speaking of Anne-Marie, I'd be watching EWZ to see if there's any systemic underlying issue on the back of that Rio Tinto Glencore headline.
That's a Brazil ETF, yeah.
Since Rio is in Brazil. Awesome. Thank you. Covered calls are saving my bacon. Guys, this is why Anne-Marie has her own segment here. Well, there's several reasons, but that's one of them.
Yeah, I know. I get that, Retro. I get that. And yeah, DG has been fantastic.
Jay, I saw a headline that Volvo was down 25%. Does anyone have a symbol for Volvo?
Well, isn't that related to the QS news? Because Volvo is like, I think, one of the biggest backers of QuantumScape.
I covered that QuantumScape news this morning. The double beat, the record revenue, and the AI momentum growing.
But they're selling off, right?
Oh, you know what? Did I just read the wrong headline? Yeah, I did. I had the news on the Eagle line to accelerate the solid state battery production. But yes, the stock, we took a look at that chart earlier. Stock got pounded.
Yeah, and Volvo is one of the biggest backers of QuantumScape. I believe. Let me double check that. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
I think that you're right, and I think that the ticker is VLVLY. Volvo AB.
No, it's
no. Is this the wrong one? Damn.
It's like it starts with an A. It's like an OTC, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely an OTC, but yeah, I've got it at VLVLY.
I'm sorry. You're right. VWAGY.
Well, that's Volkswagen.
Oh, you're saying Volvo. I don't know. I think, okay, so
it's
probably
okay,
not, it probably has nothing to do with it. Volkswagen's the one that's the backer of QS. That's why I'm getting this mixed up.
Okay. Well, that happens even to the best of us. Okay.
So I don't know why Volvo's going down then.
We've got 2 minutes left here. I clicked the wrong thing. Sorry. We got 2 minutes left here. My producer's not here, so it's up to me, and I'm butchering it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the movers. Let's wrap up here. We are done for the day. I am going to be back at this again tomorrow. 13 will be rejoining us on Monday, so don't forget, 13's not here. Wish him safe travels.
Yep, and folks, let's have a fun time watching the Super Bowl. Who you got to win?
Oh, that we covered that during the prediction market segment. I think most of the people I saw were Seattle. I'll be sure to ask Mark Petrino, the Patriot fan, who he's got tomorrow. Let's really quickly wrap some of these stocks. First one here is Kelly B. This is the halt fest to the upside, lowest float we've ever seen. We're now in the backside of that move. Hope y'all are out. 13. Anything else on this one?
If not really. If you're able to trade this, just understand the risks you're getting yourself into. Make sure you're taking your profit. I mean, this is coming right back down to where it started, so the whole trade might be over. I don't think this is going to come back, but even if it does, just understand what you're getting yourself into. Very, very high risk stock to be trading, but the only thing you should do is understand the risks.
Here's AIM. This had a big move right up to that 180, and then reality set in, and down it goes. This thing all the way down to that 65 EMA. Maybe it finds some support here. I don't like this. How about you, 13?
No, when I saw this, I was like, it's going to aim for lower prices, and sure enough, it did. So here we are trading lower and giving back pretty much. Let me look at it, the intraday chart here. So we've almost completely given it back. We're getting support. We were getting support from at 65 EMA right now. I still think this is looking like it's headed to 120. That might be where support is. It's kind of the area the price was trading earlier this week. Maybe support's there. Wouldn't surprise me if it's lower, but I think this one's pretty much finished for now.
Okay, Arnaz here. This is the X-Sniper special. Be careful of the rug pull extraordinaire that is known as Arnaz. Indeed, that's what happened. Rejected by the VWAP. Couldn't get above it. Wicked up to it. Could not get above it. Down we go. Retraced 95% of that move. Maybe this goes, but be very careful. Not one that you should necessarily be overloading. You got anything on this, 13?
Our nasty is probably going to only see a retest of the the 200 and the 65 EMAs. Maybe there's a chance it gets back up to VWAP around 11, but it's going to need significant amount of volume to do that. And if it does, we'll be breaking a downtrend. So I don't want to say that this couldn't come back, but if you are going to trade this, just remember this thing is gross, and just don't hang on to it. Just be in, out if you're going to trade it at all. And just say thank you for the gains, move on to something else. Okay,
and then the other one here, perhaps the only mover that's really holding up for us today, CISS, although it sure looks like this 230, 235 area is the resistance. We're testing it right now. Take us home, 13.
Yeah, this is the 235. Maybe the 235 breakout happens here, right, as we're getting off for the day. This is the big resistance area, as you can see from the pre-market and the regular session. If we just continue with this volume, we're going higher. How high? Not quite sure from here. Let me just give you a quick idea of where we might see this go. I really don't know how high this goes. There's a big gap between 9 and 32. I don't think we're going to get that, but just make sure you're paying yourself on the way up. Looks like there's a seller in the way at 250. Maybe that's the next resistance area.
Okay, 13, really good stuff here. Closing words for the group.
Folks, another wonderful day with you all, and hope you have a wonderful Friday. I will see you all on Monday. Enjoy your Super Bowl parties if you're going to any, and stay safe. Hope to see you all on Monday. Take care. Goodbye. All
right, 13, really good stuff. Safe travels. We will see you on Monday. Really quickly here, Kenarp. Kenarp is asking, Anne-Marie, how do I follow you inside Benzinga Pro? Okay, I'm going to bring the screen back up, and I will demonstrate that for you here real quick before we sign off. The way that you stay on top of everything that Anne-Marie is doing, whether it be trades or market updates, is you want to click the chat icon in the upper right corner of your platform. It is the universal icon for a message. And when you open your chat, left, right, or otherwise, it doesn't matter. Go ahead and use the drop down at the top. Mine defaults to the happy hour chat room that 13 moderates. But if you click that drop down, you'll notice that Anne-Marie Band Trades is the top room there. And if you click on that, this will give you access to her room where she links all of her different stuff and will also throw trade ideas in here. So this is how you can interact with Anne-Marie inside Benzinga Pro. Just to recap, it is through the chat module, and you use the drop down at the top to select her room. Okay, folks, that's it here for us today. We're going to be back at this again tomorrow. I do want to remind you, all right? I want to remind you we have this webinar coming up, Harness Volatility for Income. This is going to be a good one. All right. It's an options-based approach. Volatility can actually work for you. You don't have to fear it. It can be a source of income when used right. So be sure to join Matt Holcomb, Portfolio Manager at RecShares, for an in-depth webinar on how option strategies can be used to potentially generate income in volatile markets. You will understand volatility and options. You will learn how to harness volatility for income, and you will learn how to navigate today's market environment. We're automatically going to send you there. So if you stick around right here in this room, you'll automatically see this webinar. Scan the QR code if you want it. I hope that you folks find that valuable. That's it for me here today. I'll be back to wrap it up tomorrow. I'm going to need you folks tomorrow because 13 won't be here. We'll bring on Mark Petrino. We'll bring on Anne-Marie. Maybe Anne-Marie will be available to come on a little earlier. I don't know. We'll see. But have a good one, everybody. Stay green. Stay safe. Stay focused.